Happy Friday. You're checking in with Sportstime on Sports 56 with Gabe and Sats, the February 18, 2022 edition of the program. We're always live from the Family Leisure Studios in beautiful Memphis, Tennessee. I'm Gabe Kuhn. My partner does pre and post for the Ole Miss Football Radio Network. He is on site right now in Fayetteville. Brett Stats Norris with you. Brett, hello.
Good afternoon, Gabe. How are you?
I can't complain. Producer of the program, Go Tigers 247, writer Brian Dacus. Brian, how are you, man? You doing well?
Oh, I'm doing great. It's opening day for college baseball,
Yes,
so
sure
I'm
is.
on cloud 9 right now.
I've never been a big college baseball guy.
Oh, I love it.
If you didn't know that.
I love it.
I know who Tim Elko is, though, for all those Ole Miss fans.
That's good.
Out there.
It's a start.
I know Tim Elko. He can hit.
Oh,
He really
yeah,
can hit, man. First hour of our show brought to you by Lexus of Memphis, one and only Lexus dealership in Memphis. A lot to get to today. At 3:30, bottom of this hour, Alan Bell joins us from CBS Sports Line on some gaming. We have some NFL offseason discussion to have with him as well. 4 o'clock, Bruce Marshall from the Gold Sheet joins us. We get his Friday night college basketball action. Speaking of which, Brian Dacus, you have anything for us?
Well, I've only taken a little peek at it, but I really like right now Oakland. They're -4
okay.
over Wright State. I think they could win by double digits. I think 4 points is insulting for Oakland. I think big win at home against a Wright State team who's 15-12. Give me Oakland all day.
Oakland, you heard it here first. You heard it here first. We'll see what Bruce has for his Friday night action. But we also have to get his take, and we'll get it off the top from both of me and Brett, about the college football playoff deciding to table talks until 2023. They're not going to expand until 2026. 2023, I apologize, 2026. Contract expires in 2025, so we will discuss that in just a moment as well. 4:30, Drew Barrett joins us from ESPN Arkansas to talk some Razorbacks and SEC. 5 o'clock, Jason Munz from the CA on the Tigers beat, talk some Tigers basketball. Plenty of discussion to get to on the Tigers. SMU on Sunday. Huge game for both clubs. We'll see how that goes down. Tigers actually healthy as opposed to the first time around. Could go a little better for them. We'll get Jason's take on that. We also have to do bracket talk, Amani Bates talk, among other things. 5:45, we get out with Taco Bell Crunch Time. AutoZone listener line 901-360-8255. Get in the zone, AutoZone. You can also watch us live and message us on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and go to our website at sports56whbq.com. Bryant mentioned it. College baseball season kicking off. All-Star Weekend also kicking off tonight with the Rising Stars Challenge. It's not the game anymore. Brett, I just figured out that they're doing 4 different rosters. Desmond Bain will be part of Team Isaiah. Have you seen how they're doing it this year?
I have not. I'm not the go-to guy on the Rising Stars game.
So tonight, 8 p.m., new format, 4 7-player teams to compete in a mini-tournament. It'll consist of 3 games, 2 semifinals, and 1 final. Each game will be played to a target score. The coaches for all these teams, for the 4 teams, James Worthy, Isaiah Thomas, which Desmond Bain is part of that team, as well as Precious Achiuwa, former Tiger, Rick Barry, and then Gary Payton. In the semifinal games, target score is 50. And the target score in the final will be 25.
I feel sorry for whoever has to play for Rick Barry, one of the bigger jackasses that ever walked planet Earth.
Let's see who's playing for him. We got Cade Cunningham, Dyson Daniels. I believe that's G League Ignite. Yeah. Evan Mobley, Isaac Okoro, a big Cleveland showing there. And big Houston showing. Alperen Sengun, Jay-Sean Tate, Franz Wagner. And by the way, Franz Wagner, I think I have to give him his flowers.
Brother Mo.
And they're both on the same team. I didn't think he'd be that great. He's been pretty good in his rookie year. He's been a solid player.
I had it completely opposite. I thought the brother, man, I was just dreaming of landing Wagner here. Yeah, and he hadn't ended up as good as Franz.
Mo Wagner. Yeah, he's sort of like those Michigan guys that played under I'm forgetting the name right this second.
John Beilein.
Yeah, John Beilein. He's sort of the Ignis Brazdeikis sort of thought. I mean, just tall guy who can shoot, sort of stretch out.
Well,
very
they kind of have
versatile.
that now in Dickinson.
In who?
In Dickinson.
Yeah,
now.
he's grown a little shot, hasn't he? He's been solid.
Yeah.
But this year for the All-Star game, it's going to be different for Grizzlies fans. I mean,
it'll be fun.
You get to see Ja start an All-Star game with the ball in his hands too. This isn't like is in the situation where you had Marc Gasol, where you don't know how many touches he's going to get. Ja gets the ball just about every time down the floor, and also you get to see Desmond Bane in the Rising Stars competition in the three-point contest. You have more reason to watch this year if you're a Grizzlies fan.
Now, baseball's really the sport for the unwritten rule. I wonder if there are any unwritten rules around the All-Star game because, in Ja being in his first one, don't want to violate any, seniority code or anything. But if there's not, if I'm Ja, when I get the ball in my hands, I never let it go, and I go for MVP.
I think he has a really substantial chance to do that. The way he can move the ball around. Yeah, and the way he can move the ball around, too. I just want to see him challenge somebody at the rim. That's all I want to see. I want to see him on the same floor with all these other All-Stars we see year in, year out. Giannis, Steph, Jokic.
I don't know that they need big rim challenges. Several years ago, and I can't remember who drew blood, whether it was Dwayne Wade hitting Kobe or Kobe hitting Dwayne Wade in an All-Star game, but I'll guarantee you that's against the code of ethics and unwritten rule. Don't draw any blood or go too hard at me at the rack.
But that's what we want to see from Ja, though, is go hard at the rack.
But I don't want to see him challenged, though. I don't
want to see anybody get injured.
Yeah.
I don't want to see anybody get injured. I'm just saying, though, that's what we've come to love about Ja. That's the fun thing about him.
Clothesline at the rim.
I hope that doesn't. Did they? I mean, in All-Star games, I don't want them to play that hard. I don't want them to be going for blood, fouling like that. I don't need that.
Well, that's why I thought that year, and I can't remember who had the contact, who did the bleeding. But I clearly remember thinking, I don't know if that's cool or not to draw blood at an All-Star game.
No, I don't want to see that happen. Now, college football playoff will not expand until at least 2026. Contract runs out in 2025. So we're going to have 4 teams for 4 more years, and then we'll see what happens from there. And Brett, I guess the thing that really bothers me the most about this, besides the sort of group of 5 not being able to get a showing in a 4-team playoff all the time, although Cincinnati got it done this year. You had a working group for the NCAA for 2 years. For 2 years to find a response, to find something that worked for everybody. They found it. They said the 12-team playoff, 6 of the top conference winners get in, and then 6 at-larges. It would create $450 million of extra revenue. And now it just feels like their suggestion, that working group for 2 years, was all for nothing.
Well, it was. Doesn't that scream of a big, unwieldy organization like the NCAA, and even you can include adjuncts to that, the college football playoff? There's a lot of blame game to go around. I know a lot of people always want to blame the big, mean SEC for this. This is not on the SEC whatsoever. If you want to start at the blame game, you could probably start at the ACC, and then maybe even work Pac-12. The SEC was ready to agree to this last summer.
Yep.
They were ready. They would like a few more at-larges, but they're ready to go with it, because if people are looking for any type of system, any type of playoff that kind of de-SECs it from it, that cuts the SEC out, there's not one. There's not going to be one unless you took the really draconian step 10 miles backwards and not only went back to BCS, go back past that. Go back to where every conference kind of had what the Rose Bowl has with Pac-12 and Big Ten, and the SEC would have a deal with the Sugar Bowl, and the Orange Bowl would have a deal with the Big 12, and then you would hope you just have the right teams run into each other, and then we all vote at the end, and we might have a split champion. If you want to really cut the SEC out, you got to go backwards instead of forward.
We don't need to cut the SEC out. 8-12, as far as expansion, it helps everybody. It helps all the Power 5 conferences, the middle of the ground teams. For you, I mean, Ole Miss would be helped by a 12-team playoff.
Primary benefit.
Exactly. So
Arkansas,
I look at some of these middle of the line sort of Power 5 teams, and I don't understand why they clearly would want that. Of course, the Group of 5 would want it, but it would be the same sort of hierarchy. Group of 5 would still get the bad end of the stick. They wouldn't get the good end of the stick because the Power 5 is going to be fed in these situations. The one thing that bothers me, too, is you have a lot of people saying, well, it's going to be the same 4 teams no matter what, and that's a reason not to expand. Why is that a reason not to expand? Yes, it will be the same teams even with expansion, but that doesn't mean you don't try. Exploring parity is vital, in my opinion, to the health of college football.
Well, I think it will make it more interesting. It might still end up being the same result, but along the way, just like Cincinnati last year. Cincinnati got pounded by Alabama. What was the reaction when we reassembled the day after that? Hey, way to go, Cincinnati. You played pretty respectably. You didn't get pounded. Way to go,
Not
Cincinnati.
Any worse than Notre Dame. Not any worse than, who was it?
Exactly.
Ohio State lost to Clemson in a 2-3 matchup in 2017. Not any worse than that. That was 31-0.
That's right.
So I don't want to.
You dust yourself off and move on.
Exactly. The blowout thing, if we expand to 12 or 8, you can't tell me that there will never be any type of upset. There will, at some point, we're going to run into some level of parity. Yes, will it be Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson, these teams competing for it? Yes, I get that, but that doesn't mean you don't effort to have some parity in college football.
I never said never on someone like Cincinnati finally cracking through. I won't say never. I would just say remote. But when that hits, that'll be a lot of fun for somebody that hits on that remote upset.
And Brett, you mentioned it. It really is the ACC, and I think the Big Ten for the most part, with the big holdup, has to do with autonomy. And also, according to Jim Phillips, the ACC commissioner, it has to do with NIL and transfer portal. Oh, we don't know the new age of college football. You're not going to know the new age of college football in 5 years.
Ever.
When does this conversation
We've never
stop?
known it.
When does this conversation? And it honestly, it makes me worried, Brett, about when we get to 2026. Are we even going to get expansion then? Because the same things will remain. We'll still have questions about NIL. We'll still have questions about transfer portal. Will it be a little bit more organized? Maybe. Will we know a little bit more of how it works? Maybe. But those questions will still remain.
I'm not surprised that we didn't get a deal because every time we would have Bill Hancock on, every time we would visit with any college football poobahs, they were big on letting this contract play all the way out or just right up to the end of it. And now they're going to let it play all the way out. And now a lot of teams are going to let everything settle on expansion. The SEC, Texas and Oklahoma are not going to be merged in before the 2025 season. Mm-hmm. So that year would even be a year before the any type of new deal. But they're going to. I think everybody in college football now is going to wait and just let everything settle, and it kind of be a repeat of the same old, same old. There's no incentive at all, and why should he? Because he enjoys and is very good at what he does. But especially under this makeup, Nick Saban's going to coach right through the end of this contract.
Yeah, and the other thing that comes up is autonomy. And there's the six best conference winners was what the working group from the NCAA suggested. A lot of the Power 5 guys, especially the ACC and the Big Ten. I don't think the SEC gives a damn because they know they'll be part of the 6 best conference winners. They're not worried about it. But the ACC and the Big Ten want 5+1. So they want 5 Power 5 auto bids and then one group of 5 team gets an auto bid. And
Gabe, I'll say it now.
I think that's BS. I think that's BS, Brett. The 5+1 thought.
Yeah, mostly.
Well, here's my problem. If the Pac-12 has a terrible year, let's say USC stinks, Oregon stinks, Utah has 2 losses, right? Utah has 2 losses. Why should they get in if they had a bad year? Why are we giving them good treatment for having a bad season? And Mike Oresco,
that's a participation trophy.
Mike Oresco in his letter, and there's some things I've disagreed with Mike Oresco in the past about. I think he really does speak well for the conference, for the AAC, but he called it privilege for privilege's sake. And he also went on to say, just as Major League Baseball does not give a privileged position to the American League East and not to other divisions simply because the Yankees and the Red Sox are the biggest brands, have and spend the most money, and have had the most recent success, the college football playoff should not be affording conferences privileged positions based on such factors. And if the 5+1 method is that, there would be years where you're doing that, where you're giving the Pac-12 something that they don't really earn. Mm-hmm. So and
Kliakoff's comments today were I thought ridiculous, but that wasn't a letter from Mike Oresco. That was Tolstoy's War and Peace he wrote. My That's a dissertation he wrote.
And he saw this coming. I mean, it's very clear. And he was the only Group of 5 commissioner willing to sort of step up and discuss it and talk about it.
But we're talking about football. We miss football, but you can still turn on every Thursday. You can turn every Thursday into a big payday with NBA on TNT at FanDuel Sportsbook. Next Thursday night will be another TNT NBA game, and you can have the same game parlay. It doesn't matter if you win or lose. FanDuel is giving all customers $10 back every Thursday. Just bet a $10 more same game parlay on any NBA on TNT game next Thursday night. Celtics and the Nets getting started back after play resumes. I like the Celtics money line. I like the late game Portland money line, and I like Steph Curry with over the point. So many options: player point totals, rebounds, assists, chance to put down a small bet and win big. Odds are high, which results in great payouts. It's a perfect way to turn a small bet into a big time score. Easy to register, easy to deposit, easy to find your bet, and when you win, you get your money back in as little as 2 hours. Get $10 back every Thursday, win or lose, with TNT Thursdays. If you're new to FanDuel, sign up now. Promo code CASH. Sign up with promo code CASH to make every moment more this NBA season. That's promo code CASH. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit. Expires in 7 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789. This hour of our show brought to you every day by the one and only Lexus dealership in town, and that is Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway. Call them at 901-362-8833 for any service question. If you've ever thought I'd look great in a Lexus, well, guess what? On this sun splash day, you'd look great in one of those new Lexus cars from 2600 Ridgeway from Lexus of Memphis. Stop by right now and get in that new 2022 LS500, and you'll be driving in style. You purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design that makes for the luxury driving experience. Online at LexusOfMemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
And I'm going to keep this short and sweet. We head into the All-Star break, and it's a different feeling for Memphis Grizzlies fans and media than it ever has been. You get to see Desmond Bain tonight in the Rising Stars. By the way, celebrity game at 6. Brett, you denied your invite to the celebrity game tonight? You couldn't,
well, I was
you couldn't do
disappointed. They said a guy that never had the ball go through the net could not participate.
That's disappointing. Bieber's been out there in the past. You could compete with Bieber, Brett. Come on. No, but I'm going to keep this short and sweet when it comes to it. Grizzlies are there. Rising Stars. You get to see Desmond Bain tonight play. Tomorrow, All-Star Saturday night, you get to see Desmond Bain perform in the three-point contest. And then when Sunday night hits, when we get to the All-Star game, you get to see John Morant start. You get to see John Morant with the ball in his hand. It's a different feeling around this franchise. It's a different feeling around the NBA about this franchise, and it's showing, and this is sort of the first opportunity we get to see that.
That's a great top story, Gabe, and great taste, because this is yet another example of, I talk about that root growing deeper with Memphis as an established NBA town. We have an established superstar, we have other stars, and have a really good team. My top story, it's Sunday afternoon for the college team that has Memphis across the jersey against the SMU Mustangs. It's almost Sunday will be the full loop on the redemption tour. After the SMU loss, maybe the lowest point in Tiger basketball since the firing of Pitt Price. Man, everybody was really, really upset. And that night, Coach Hardaway, very upset. But since that night, almost like everybody thought in the preseason. Everything we thought it would be in the preseason. Just keep winning, and winning fixes everything.
There's no question about it. If they win on Sunday, they put themselves in the driver's seat to getting that at-large bid that everyone hoped would come in the first year with Penny Hardaway. But we're in year 4 now. I think everybody would be happy to get it now as well.
Not top story of the day.
MLB. It could be, honestly, Brett, it could be the not top story every day when we come on here. Let's be honest. Jeff Passan today, this is just about an hour ago. He reports Major League Baseball has postponed spring training games through March 5th. The league prepares to start meeting with the MLB Players Association on Monday as collective bargaining negotiations finally start to ramp up. If they ramp up, hopefully they get something done. Hopefully they find some common ground. But as we know from the past, as we know with how they feel about each other, I wouldn't count on it. And since we talked about it yesterday, I went and looked this up. And I went and looked up how sort of turned off the younger generation is at this moment by baseball. And not even necessarily turned off, just how little they care, it seems. In 2005, the MLB's fan, I believe the third oldest in American sports at 57 right now. 57 is the average age of a viewer of the MLB. In 2005, it was 52. You have so many younger people just turning away, finding the NBA, finding the NFL, finding other things to do. And I'm just scared if they miss a full season, if they miss a half season. And think about what we've done the past few years with COVID and everything else, shortened seasons here, there. I just get scared that we're going to have more people turn away, and I don't think the MLB can handle that. Now, the MLB in the past, Brett, we talked about it yesterday, they've always had that night. They've always had that somebody show up, something show up to save their game. And I don't think we've ever prepared for it. I don't think we ever knew what it was in the past. But this time, it's hard to imagine anything. It's hard to see what could save it at this moment and put it back in the limelight as it once was. Just very frustrating in a whole lot of ways.
We'll see. They always have a hero come along. This might be the time that they don't. That Mike Trout or Shohei can't save it. This might be the one. My not top story. NBA standings at the All-Star break are a work of art. Everybody go to them and look at them and gaze at them for really about another week. Yes, that's the Memphis Grizzlies. There's a 3 seed and only 2 back for the 2 seed in the Western Conference. Who had that in the preseason? A collective nobody. 22 games left after the All-Star break. 11-11 will have the Grizzlies fall on a 52-win season. Nobody had that either in the preseason.
So I was looking at the odds to win the NBA championship today, and Grizzlies sit at, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th right now out of 30 teams in the NBA. They're plus 2,500 to go win an NBA championship. At the top, you have the Suns plus 450 and the Warriors plus 475. But you would figure the Grizzlies were at the bottom of this list. At this point, you would have imagined that they wouldn't be close to plus 2,500, be more like plus 10,000, right? So it really is substantial what we're seeing in this city and what we're seeing with this franchise. That'll do it for Top and Not Top Story of the Day. Coming back on the other side, we talk some gaming, we talk some NFL offseason with our good friend, Alan Bell.
The all-new Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Brought to you by Action 24/7, James Gaddis Jewelers, and Acura of Memphis. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10 right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, Orco hard coolers, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps, fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings and Grill. With 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings and Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every $1 you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill.
So here's what car buyers are facing right now. Most dealerships have little to choose from, or maybe some selection, but nothing to get excited about. Not at Auto Universe Germantown. I'm looking at beautiful top-of-the-line late-model cars and SUVs right here on Winchester off 385. Auto Universe Germantown has more luxury vehicles than I've seen in one place in a long time. Lexus, Infiniti, Audi, Jeep. Looks like every brand. How about Mercedes, Nissan, Honda, Chevy, Toyota? Affordable luxury. No haggle pricing. Come on by, ask for Zach. He'll take care of you. There's no wait time for service appointments either right here at Auto Universe Germantown. Call Robert at 901-751-7300 and get in now. Brakes, transmission, tire rotation, battery checks. Top technicians for all makes and models. Even collision repair. Everything you want in one place. 7300 Winchester, just off 385. You're going to love Auto Universe Germantown. Ask for Zach and tell him you heard about him on Sports 56. Finest pre-owned luxury vehicles made affordable. That's eAutoUniverse.com.
Moving is stressful, but Black Tie Moving can take the worry out of the process. Whether you're moving across town or across country, moving your home or your office, your personal moving concierge from Black Tie Moving will work with you to design a plan that perfectly fits your budget and needs. And they're available 24/7 to answer any questions you have. Give Black Tie Moving a call at 901-316-6196 or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis to get your personal, no obligation quote from the moving experts at Black Tie Moving.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Get it? Text a message, I don't know the number.
Back rolling on Sports Time on Sports 56 with Gabe and Stats. AutoZone listener line 901-360-8255. Get in the zone, AutoZone. You can also message us questions, comments, concerns on anything we discussed today to our social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Without further ado, let's bring in our good friend from CBS Sportsline, Alan Bell, at AlanBell247 on Twitter. Alan, what's happening, man?
What's up, big dog? Y'all doing all right?
Yeah, no complaints. No complaints. Hanging in there. Right. Did you enjoy the Super Bowl? Do some winning?
Yeah, it was good, man. Like, hit on some props. The punts that we talked about, all of them came.
Yep, sure did.
That was phenomenal. But Vegas did really well. With the Rams winning the game, but not covering the spread. But everybody who put money on the risk side for them of the Bengals, money line, that didn't come through either, and it hit the under. So Vegas crushed it once again.
Alan, you crushed it. Your team crushed it. We talked about it on Monday. I read your record for the year with us. The percentages were great. NFL, particularly great for you, but good in college, good overall. And then last Friday, with what you gave us 2 weeks ago with that over 6.5 in the punts, and then last Friday, I think the best, in air quotes here, because it's never easy in the world of wagering, but any touchback on a punt, that got there, and you got there with a running back attempting a pass. Joe Mixon completed a touchdown pass. Great year for you with us on Friday, and we explained to our listeners, Alan, we're peppering you with picks that you don't have a clue's coming. And we finally, and next year, I want to get around. I want to do it first. And Gabe, help me remember this. Brian, help me remember this. When we bring you in next football season, I want you to get to your good stuff first, because we kind of pinned that right towards the break after we rattled through all these different, some of them very obscure games, and you nail it and you do it with aplomb, and we appreciate you.
Well, I appreciate y'all. Yeah, thank you so much for having me week after week, and it was a good season. In a kind of weird year, especially when the playoffs got here. But, it was a good season, and I'm very, very happy and thankful to be able to do it with you guys.
So what do you think about all of the noise that was going on the side of the Super Bowl with all the retirements possibly for the Rams? Aaron Donald, Sean McVay. Andrew Whitworth deserves to retire if he wants to retire, whatever the hell it is. But what do you think? Do you think McVay could step away or Aaron Donald could step away?
Dude, how weird was that, right? Like, first off, you're right in terms of Big Whit, right? Like, if he's ready to go.
Hey, by the way, I'm going to go full Friday on this. It's about the principle, Smokey. Literally, it is about the principle with Whit. Playing that many years, being 40 years old, playing that high of a level at left tackle, put him in the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely. Like, that is so difficult to do for that longevity. So I agree with you on that. Yeah, it was weird, right? Because it was like we got the Sean McVay kind of murmurs coming out like the day before, and then it was like, boom, here comes Aaron Donald. I was like, wait, what? What is going down, right? Like this Rams team is just dissolving, but it looks like McVay is coming back. It looks like Donald's coming back. So now it just kind of piques my interest of where that came from, right? Like, are they both looking for like new deals? I don't know what's going on, but I would just be surprised if both of them aren't back next year.
Just kind of swinging for the fences somewhere earlier part of the week, I said it wouldn't shock me. The very setup of the NFL, they don't want a lot of repeats. They don't want a lot of dynasties, New England notwithstanding. So early in the week, kind of swinging for the fences, I made this bold proclamation. Neither Super Bowl 56 team, neither Cincinnati nor the Rams, even in the playoffs next year.
Wow, going big. Now, it's fascinating because, they're both in two pretty good divisions, right? Like, the 49ers are going to be favored to win the Super Bowl over of, Los Angeles coming into next year, right? And then you look at, what's Pittsburgh going to look like? What's Baltimore going to look like? What's Cleveland going to look like? So, yeah, man, like, it's tough.
Arizona.
It's not, an easy – exactly, right? Like, it's not an easy road for those guys, at all. Now, I will say one thing going back real quick to the Sean McVay part. Sean McVay will have an opportunity to do TV and Monday Night Football, and he will make way more money doing that than he will coach the NFL. And those jobs, look, those are plum dream jobs. There's not a lot of work involved with those, right? So, yeah, I get Sean McVay. But, no, you're right, man. Like, next year, dude, the NFL's got a lot of parity right now. We're in a really good place.
It's better than trying to game plan a DeMeco Ryans defense, I'll tell you that. it's a lot better than that week in, week out.
It is, Gabe. It is, Gabe. But, Gabe, as you know, and Alan, you know it, those guys, and I say this jokingly, if they were heroin addicts, they have to be mainlining with a drip IV in both arms. That announcing gig doesn't get that drug satisfied like they want it.
No, it's true. That's true. Like, and you know what? And you bring up a good point because that's why we see so many that get up there and they're making killer money. But then but you could see it during the game. They're itching, man. They're like, dude, I kind of need to be down there. Like, this isn't where I'm supposed to be. So, yeah, it's a good point by you.
What do you so we've had this. I brought this debate up on Monday. I think the debate really surfaced on Tuesday. Matt Stafford, his Hall of Fame case. Where do you stand on it?
I mean, I can't argue it, right? Like, his numbers are his numbers, and now you throw a Super Bowl in with it as well. And it gets to the point now to where, it's essentially how long is it going to take, right? Like, there's a backlog already, and I'm not saying that Stafford, is a first ballot or should even be considered, right? But at some point, like, he's going to have to go in, right? Like, his passing yards, his numbers, like, everything is there. And if we put other guys in there that are similar that don't have a ring, yeah, man, like I can't say no to it. You know what I mean?
So you think the Richard Sherman argument lacks a little bit of nuance there, saying he's not all pro, never really made Pro Bowls?
Yeah, like it's tough, right? Because like how much should that be weighed in, right? Like you look at
he played in the league with Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers and Big Ben and Peyton Manning and.
Agreed, man. Like, all pro, like there's only two, you know what I mean? Like through the whole league, and with Pro Bowls, everybody kind of gets to Pro Bowls. Like, I don't even really want to count that, the good ones don't want to be in the Pro Bowl, right? Like, and I know it's different between just being awarded and, playing in the actual game, but yeah, man, like I just don't put that much stock into it. I put stock into what's tangible. What do your numbers look like? What do your numbers look like in the era? that you played in, right? Like, I think that's an important conversation too. And even still when doing that, Matthew Stafford's up there, man. Like,
right.
The guy's there.
Yeah, Alan, we have a lot of fun on this show. It's really more an off-season thing, a summertime thing. We'll crank it up in a few Fridays. We like to play what we call high hard ones. I'm gonna throw you one. I'm gonna throw a high hard one. I'm gonna go right inside on you. Dumber leadership, baseball or college football?
Oh God, Major League Baseball for sure. Look, college football is at least difficult. You've got 100+ teams and all kinds of things that are going on. Players are getting paid now. Like there's a lot of dummies over there, but I certainly respect like how difficult it is to put all this together. Major League Baseball is just dumb. They're just dumb, man, and like they just don't care. Yep. And they'll say anything and get caught doing it, right? Like it just came out right before that MLB, the ownership's like, oh well, we have to get rid of the first part of spring training, and the MLBPA comes back with the actual rules. Like, no, you don't. You're lying. Like Major League Baseball, they kill me. And here's what I hate the most is that every time this happens, people blame the players. They lump this into it, and I'm not saying that all time in history that they're completely scot-free, but they are this time. I don't want to see signs blaming players. Like, this is all on MLB and ownership this time. All of it.
The thought that at any point, and I think really with any sport, that the owners are ever acting in good faith is just a ridiculous fallacy.
Ridiculous.
They make too much money. They don't really see the sport necessarily as a winning opportunity. They see it as a money making opportunity in a lot of ways.
Bingo.
I think Kraft was close to having good intentions with the NFL a few years ago. He and Jeff Saturday really forged a good relationship. But I
one of 32. One of 32. Those are low numbers, Brett.
I came up with one out of 120 of four major league sports.
Right.
Yeah. You're right, man. Like I've got to put all that blame on Major League Baseball.
All right, now college football playoff. I saw you tweet about it today. I saw you sort of discuss that. Did you think it was? I sort of saw it coming. Honestly, with all the things that have been coming up, do you think it was a dumb move for the current state of college football? Do you think they need to wait, or do you think they need to go right into it?
Well, so I don't think we're talking about college football playoff expanding from 4 teams to 8 or 12, right? Like. They're choosing 4. Like I'm not going to say dumb. I wanted it to be more. I'm not going to blame it on dumb because we still have what we have. However, you look across all the sports, right? Like the NCAA tournament, the NFL, the NBA, pretty much any professional sport. About 48 to 50% of teams make the playoffs, right? Mm-hmm. College baseball, college basketball, you're looking at close to 30%. College football, it's 5%. Right? Like, I mean, they've got to do something about this because it's the same teams over and over and over. I'll tell you, Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, Oklahoma, Notre Dame, and Clemson make up 78.1% of all playoff teams, all time. And couple that with this, the games are blowouts. They're not even good. 75% of these games are in with 2 or plus more score blowouts. So, I'm just ready for something more because this is just – you could take the first weekend of the college football playoff and throw it in the trash. It doesn't matter. They're never close games.
Yeah, and I said it earlier in the show. Just because we haven't seen parity, it's always the same 4 teams, doesn't mean you don't effort for parity in college football. Now, I'm curious, from a gaming perspective, if they did expand it to 8 or 12, for those top teams, for those top 4 teams, when we're talking about odds to win it all, would it change it all that much? Would the number change all that much?
It would change between those 4, right? Like the top 4, because here's the problem: is that it's a game script style to where you have essentially Nick Saban gets 45 days to prepare for one team, beats the hell out of them, and then they play again in a week against a different team, right?
Mm-hmm.
You notice
they've been prepared for that difference between.
You notice the difference between game 2 and game 1 is completely different because you're not giving Nick Saban and Ryan Day 45 days to prepare for someone, right? Like, I think that's the problem, is that you're giving these already blue bloods, you're giving them you're just throwing chum in the water. There's no chance that these other teams can win these games in the first round. It's not going to happen, right? So I think that, just having more teams in there will give an opportunity that you just never know what might happen, right? But right now, we just don't have that. We'll get it the national championship game. And I heard somebody, they were like, well, a first-time winner, won it this year. I was like, Georgia's been there 12 times. Like, this isn't like a Cinderella thing. Yeah, it was just bound to happen with odds. So, yeah, man, I'm just all for more. And we see the NFL. You remember, everyone made fun of the NFL after Wild Card Weekend for expanding the playoffs. And guess what happened? It was the greatest playoffs we've ever seen, and it was the first Super Bowl in history that featured a number 4 seed versus a number 4 seed, right? So it's not a bad thing to expand, and they'll get there one day, but I was hoping for it soon.
Alan, let's get out with this. There's a lot of future SEC scheduling models out there. I sent you one I kind of got my hands on, and nothing's in concrete. There's a lot of ideas. I think some are being floated to try to get the public's reaction to it. What do you want to see? Do you want to see 9? Do you want to see 10? Do you want to see divisions? Do you want to see pods? Do you want to see it be just all conference for the SEC? They non-conference games.
Yeah, that's a fascinating question because there's a lot of kind of tree branches to this thing. Like, you can't have too many conference games because you kind of do need those games against smaller type teams. Plus, it helps those teams too with money that they desperately do need, right? So I like that aspect of it, but I do like 8 or 9. 10 might be too much, and even expanding the playoffs too. Once it gets there, college football has a ceiling. There's only so many games, especially when these guys aren't paid, right? Mm-hmm. So you got to be careful of that. But I think 8 or 9. I'm fascinated to see how they do the SEC once Oklahoma and Texas get here. If they go to a 4-team, 4-pod system. That'll make it fascinating, but I would say 8 because it keeps it even. But if they went to 9, I wouldn't complain.
So before we get you out of here, Alan, when football season's behind us, what do we have over the weekend or tonight that you're looking at closely, whether it be college basketball, all-star game, college baseball, what have you?
Oh, yeah, definitely. College baseball season. I love it. I'm so glad that that's back. But no, I'm going to play VCU tonight against the Richmond Spiders, -2.5. VCU's defense is outstanding, and they're outstanding against the spread at home. Detroit, -1. You're going to have to search in your book for this one. Detroit is 100% against the spread at home this season, and they're going to handle their business, and you're getting it at a low number. And then Sunday, the NBA All-Star Game. I mean, we have to bet the over 321, right?
Mm-hmm. Are they doing that? They're not doing. Are they doing the Elam ending again? How are they doing? They're doing that, aren't they? Target score.
Yeah, they are. And I'll say, anybody tonight that's going to watch the Rising Stars Challenge, they're doing something fascinating.
Right.
3 teams, and it's a race to 75. Right? I think that's going to be fun. I can't wait to watch it. I think I might go on Team Peyton +300, but I'm not locking that in.
Gotta love it.
You in Detroit, though. Yeah.
Gotta love it. We need some sort of direction for the Rising Stars game, Alan. We knew you could give it to us. Alan, appreciate it, man. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, boys. Y'all be good. Have a good weekend.
You can follow Alan at AlanBell247 on Twitter.
He's with us every Friday. He will remain with us. We'll get back to football next year. We're going to have a lot of fun with college basketball. Yes, that's Detroit from college basketball tonight. Detroit from college basketball tonight.
I love that play.
Commissary, 2 great locations. The new Collierville Commissary at Houston, Levy, and Poplar, or the original in Germantown. Back to the 80s, back to 1981, 40-plus years. Walker Taylor's been doing it and doing it oh so well. Memphis-style barbecue and ribs, and it screams authentic Memphis-style great food. Start that barbecue feast like we did at lunch on Wednesday with the tamales, or the barbecue nachos, or the smoked chicken wings. In fact, we had all of those. And if you're craving an easier way to order, text commissary to 33733. That's 2 M's, 2 S's in commissary to 33733. Dig into the ribs, shoulder, get chopped or pulled. Get ready for Sunday afternoon Tiger watching, All-Star game watching, and coming soon. More days like today, and we'll be out on that patio watching games from out there at the new Collierville Commissary at Houston, Levy, and Poplar. All the sides, oh so good. The beans, the slaw, the deviled eggs, and the party packs, 6-pack, the 8-pack, the 12-pack. Any way you want it, they have it. Save room for dessert, the outstanding banana pudding, and the terrific lemon icebox pie. 901-754-5540. or online at commissarybbq.com. You got to have that barbecue this weekend. That's the place to do it. Either place, the new Collierville Commissary at Houston, Levy, and Poplar, or the original in Germantown.
Commissary can get you ready for Tigers at SMU, but we can also get you ready for Tigers at SMU. We'll do that when we come back on Sports 56 98.5.
You have opinions?
What do you hear? What do you say?
We want to hear them. Call or text us on the AutoZone listener line at 360-8255. That's the AutoZone listener line at 901-360-8255.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Whether you have college experience or just a high school diploma and 2 years of work experience, apply today to become a Memphis police officer. To become the best in blue, you'll train at our nationally recognized academy, and you'll receive a $15,000 sign-on bonus and up to $10,000 relocation assistance. A new era in public safety starts with you. For more details and to apply, visit joinmpd.com.
South, the Kia President's Day sales event is in full swing at Gossett Kia on the Pike, and you're going to want to make your move today. Get Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty and get ready to ride in a 2022 Kia Forte LXS, $199 a month. 2022 Kia Soul LX, $219 a month. Both 36-month leases, $27.99 due at signing. Plus 2022 Kia Sorento LX, we Gossett, $308 a month. 36-month lease, $34.99 due at signing. So come see Bobby J. He's going to put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia 1900 Covington Pike or online KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 36-month leases, $650 acquisition fee, $30,000 per year, 20 cents excess mileage, Forte, Indy 456, $841, MSRP $21,090, Soul N78, $23,215, MSRP $21,515, Sorrento NG $104,027, MSRP $31,460. Includes all rebates and incentives, PF $695, must finance through KMF, excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/28/22, dealer stock only.
I know the sweetest thing in Memphis, and I know it's been around for 120 years. You know, I'm talking about Dinstall's, and it's time to stock up heavy on Cashew Crunch, Heavenly Crunch, Turtlettes, all of your favorite Dinstall's treats to watch the playoff games and to watch all the basketball. It's so easy to get. The sweetest thing in Memphis, all you have to do is head to Laurelwood or head to Germantown and Poplar right across from the hospital, or go where they make the candies. That's on Pleasant View. There's nothing that says Memphis better than Cashew Crunch with that little tinge of coconut, or the Turtlettes. Let's face it, there's nothing better than Dinstall's chocolate. That's the mainstay of all candies, isn't it? Milk chocolate, although their dark chocolate is pretty darn good. And if you get the peppermint with the dark chocolate and put it in the freezer, you're going to love it. So many ways to love Dinstall's. 115 years of making Memphis oh so sweet.
Hi, I'm Troy Fivesh, owner of Fivesh Roofing. Sunday, today and today only. And for the first 50 callers. These are things you will never hear me say in my ads. Because if you're honest, sincere, and knowledgeable, you don't need fast-talking, high-energy, gimmick-promising advertising to get someone's attention. Speaking of that, how do you think companies can offer huge rebates and giveaways when you use their services or products? By overcharging you in the first place, that's how. 5S Roofing doesn't operate that way. It's misleading and dishonest. When I provide a customer with the best products and the best service, and I do it for a fair price, why would I need gimmicks? Best products, best warranties, and the best service possible. That's all we offer. Well, that and financing. 5S Roofing, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. 5S Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5S Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Do you want a greener, more weed-free lawn? If you're like me, you can't stand the sight of dandelions, clover, or especially crabgrass. Hi, I'm Brandon Hawley, president of Lawn Solutions. We are your locally owned and operated weed control and fertilization company. We are also experts in disease and insect control on your lawn and landscape. Our uniformed technicians are full-time, year-round licensed and certified by the state of Tennessee. Lawn Solutions' personalized service is far more superior to that of national companies that promise but simply cannot deliver. We return phone calls, we keep appointments, and we want your business. What we will not do is bother you with endless phone calls or junk mail. Lawn Solutions will not sell you something your lawn doesn't need. If you're looking for a local lawn care company to kill your weeds and feed your grass, then Lawn Solutions is the finest. Call us at 867-5626. That's 867-5626. Or go online at lawnsolutionsinc.net. From our family to yours, we want to thank you for your business.
If you're not regularly going to Central Barbecue, then you are being, I'll say it, un-Memphian.
That's not even a word.
I just made it a word. I'm drunk with power.
No, I think you just might be drunk.
Well, when this runs, that's entirely possible. But right now, I say completely soberly, if you don't eat the best barbecue in Memphis, then you're being un-Memphian.
Seriously, you can't just make up words.
I listen to your show every day. You make up words all the time.
Yeah, but not on purpose. We just get carried away. You're deliberately making one up.
Un-Memphian! Not going to Central Barbecue is like not cheering for the Tigers or the Grizzlies.
Un-Memphian.
See? Now you got it.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
I've been moving calm, don't start no trouble with me. Trying to keep it peaceful is a struggle for me. Don't pull up at 6 a.m. to cuddle with me. You know how I like it when you loving on me.
Tigers versus SMU on Sunday. We remember how the last game turned out. 70-62 at the FedEx Forum. And then after the game, Penny Hardaway got asked what we would call a dumb question. He didn't respond the greatest to it, but it is what it is. And that sort of sparked what we've seen in this 6-game win streak from the Tigers. But they go into
Some would
Moody.
say it's the reason for the 6-game win streak.
Yeah, they go into Dallas. They go in, and they have to go beat this SMU team to put themselves in a good position on the right side of the bubble. Now, I have not gotten an answer yet on Kendrick Davis, Brett. He was out against Temple. They ended up losing that game on the road to Temple 64-57. If Kendrick Davis plays, completely different SMU team.
Mm-hmm. Well, it is. I mean, just imagine. And we know how different the Tigers were, having to fight through the injuries and the roster limitations. But that game that night against SMU, that really kind of woke up, pardon the most horrible pun, the sleeping Tiger. It did.
Mm-hmm.
It got him going. Tim Jankovich is a really good coach. He'll have his team ready on Sunday. Good atmosphere, great atmosphere. But Gabe, the first win to start this streak was the win on that Sunday at Tulsa.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one. That was tipping point. If the Tigers had lost that day, they would have been 500.
And they were down, too.
We'd all written it off. I mean, crazy private text. If people had to reveal the text from that day, you'd really look foolish. Me at the top of the list.
I'll say this. For this matchup ahead of them on Sunday, I think there's a couple of things that we saw in the first game that sort of give me hope for the second game. First of all, DeAndre Williams didn't play in the first game. SMU's a tiny team.
SMU's not that good.
SMU's not great, but SMU also doesn't – they're tiny. They're starting forward. Their tallest guy on the floor, and he's a good player, scores 12 points per game, Marcus Weathers. He's 6'5". That's the tallest guy.
6'5". He's listed at 6'5". He's not.
That's the tallest guy they have in their lineup.
He's not taller than Gabe.
Yeah, but that's the tallest guy they have in their lineup. If you have DeAndre Williams and Jalen Duren on the floor the way they've been playing, as long as they don't foul and get into foul trouble early, as they have in a few of these games, I like the Tigers' chances. Also, in that first game, Tigers from 3 were miserable. Didn't shoot the ball worth a lick. They were terrible. 1 for 12 from 3. What we've seen from them, though, Lester's shotting better. Tyler is part of the lineup. He's shot really well all year. Landers Nolly has shot the ball better. I think the Tigers, I know SMU has not lost at home all year, but the way the Tigers are playing, they're peaking at the right time. Kendrick Davis may be a little bit hobbled. I like the Tigers' chances.
I think this was an opportunity for Malcolm Dandridge to help you on Sunday with his height advantage. Get him in there working on pick and roll and stuff like that, and stick backs and garbage around the basket. And tell him, if you get you 5 fouls, get them. Fine.
Yep. And another thing, it's just so full circle. It's wild. I think Alex Lomax, I don't think anyone would deny on a great team, on a really good team that would make a tournament run. He's probably a bench guard that would come and help you in that position. But what he's done since returning from injury, we cannot discount it.
Oh, no.
We can't. Last game against Cincinnati, 9 assists, 0 turnovers. Assist-to-turnover ratio since returning from injury was 4.4, pre-injury 1.0. He's sort of understanding what he has to get done with DeAndre Williams and Jalen Duren back in the lineup, and he's more comfortable.
Gabe understanding what to do and what not to do.
Yes, I think that's part of it too. That'll do it for hour number 1. Hour number 2 on the way. Bruce Marshall will start that. Drew Barrett at 4:30. But when we come back, we talk to the man from the Gold Sheet, Bruce Marshall.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
It's been said that the world always looks brighter from behind a smile. So why not let my friend, Dr. Mehdi Sadeghi, and his friendly staff at the Smile Center Memphis help brighten up your world. The Smile Center is a local family dentistry located in Germantown, specializing in cosmetic crown veneers, teeth whitening, and Invisalign clear braces, all with free consultation and second opinions. New patients are welcome, and if you don't have dental insurance, don't frown. They have an in-office plan to fit your specific needs. Same-day emergency service available as well. Give Mehdi a call, 309-1333, or visit their website at smilecentermemphis.com.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder. There are a lot of ways to ruin your roof. Probably none worse than ice and snow. Google the term ice dam, and you'll understand that standing snow and ice can destroy your home's interior. Call me, 867-0303. Damaged ceilings or interior? It's time to call Brian Elder Roofing, 867-0303. We're a platinum preferred contractor with Owens Corning, so we've been vetted and trained by the best. You've known the name for years. Call me before you call your insurance company. We won't try to sell you a new roof if you don't need one. We'll measure your roof from outer space. Call me, 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Mount Moriah Auto Sales. What sets them apart? Great selection, quality, high-end to low-end cars, and low mileage. Mount Moriah Auto Sales is under new management. Ask for Emmett or Steven. Check out their great selection of cars or trucks. Choose from Dodges, Jeeps, Fords, GMCs, Infinitis, Porsches, Range Rovers, Lexus, Mercedes, BMWs, even Bentleys. Mount Moriah Auto Sales also has a great service department with 12 bays for everything from oil changes to alignment to new tires. Go to MountMoriahAutoSales.com. Pick out your like new car or truck today. Mount Moriah Auto Sales, right on the corner and right on the price.
You could save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive, but when we just come out and say it, it feels like it falls a bit flat. So instead, we're going to have someone else say it. Because for some reason, when a random person talks about how great something is in a commercial, it's more believable.
I saved with a Progressive home and auto bundle.
And there you have it. I mean, I'm not sure why she's more believable than me, but either way, you get the point about the saving. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discount not available in all states or situations.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Back rolling on Sports Time. with Gabe and Stats. Brian Dacus, of course, producing the program, always doing a great job over there. Now, 4 o'clock on a Friday, you know what that means. We bring in our man from the Gold Sheet, Bruce Marshall. Bruce, how is it going?
Hey, Gabe, pretty good. I'm actually in California, Gabe. I'm not in Vegas too much lately, but I'm in California today, actually.
You got that sort of most interesting man in the world vibe going. You're always in different parts of the world.
Well, it's just I don't like to be in Las Vegas. It just comes down to that.
I feel you.
And Bruce, now, I mean, you can throw a rock and hit a place a bet now. You don't have to be in Vegas anymore, do you?
No, you don't. California hasn't quite joined the party yet. Arizona has. Colorado has. Even Utah's talking about it. Now, that'll be the day when Utah starts taking bets. But I've heard they're talking about it. And there's still a couple of more dominoes to fall. But, yeah, I mean, it's everywhere and or a lot of places. And it's amazing how quickly this has swooped across the country in just a few years since Passport was repealed. But if I might just comment just for a moment here, I still find it hard to believe that the sports leagues have really sort of embraced this now. Mm-hmm. And after fighting it to the point where they were actually joined with the federal government against New Jersey when this thing went to the Supreme Court. I mean, to fight it like that and then to embrace it, I don't know what that says about these institutions, but it's I don't know that it's necessarily good. I mean, it's about time they did it, but I'm still puzzled about why it took them so long and why they had to join forces with the feds in the first place. I mean, just let that thing run its course, and they were so against it, and now they've all adopted it, and just sort of seems a double standard to me, but it is what it is.
Bruce, right on. I even talked about it. I mean, a blink of an eye ago, heck, when we would have you on, we had to almost be couched in our conversation, veiled conversation for news manner only, news information only. When, you know, everybody, we all knew what we were doing. And it also, I can remember when we first started doing remotes at the Mississippi casinos, and now this is way passé, we had to be to where you could not hear the clatter and maybe even a jackpot of a machine, of a slot machine. You know, now, I mean, you know, we have it with people, you know, talking and texting in constantly about, you know, winning a bet on FanDuel. But I know if you were involved in fixing a game, like we've had some celebrated point shaving and fixing scandals. I'm not talking about those people, but some people need reputations and apologies from sport for just maybe the air quotes here, consorting with gamblers or being near a casino. Imagine now Paul Hornung and Alex Karras getting in trouble for anything.
Yeah, it is, and there's a lot of different ways to unpack this and the way the change in philosophy and all that. I think there's one overarching thing that isn't being addressed on it. Really quick, I'll bring this up. But you go into a sports book, and some of them, not all of them, you know, post this thing, you know, problem gaming and things like that. And you're seeing a few more commercials on TV. They had Steve Mariucci do one last week about be careful about how you gamble. But that's very superficial. When you consider how much money, well, let's just by comparison in the investment markets, there's some real governors on what financial salespeople can do and the sort of investments they can put customers into. I mean, you don't want retirees or old, you know, grandmothers. You know, you don't let them, you know,
play in the options market.
You don't. Yeah, they don't do uncovered options with them. You're not supposed. You get in a lot of trouble with that. And there are very few guardrails. And this is, like I said, window dressing. If this industry thinks it can run a disclaimer commercial about problem gaming, call 800, whatever. No, there's nobody. I mean, every sports book, a guy could drop $5, $6, $7, $10,000, and they'll take the bet, and they're not going to ask too much as long as you put up the money. And they don't know if somebody maxed out their credit cards or took a second on their house. I mean, there's not a lot of protection out there. And I think there's probably more bad stories that are being suppressed. This is my thought. And I could see in the next couple of years, maybe I'll tackle this a little bit further. But that side of the business needs a little bit of an advocate there, and who knows, maybe I'll be that in a couple of years.
Yeah, it's certainly headed that way. That's something I noticed immediately. The amount of sort of addiction going on. It's just on your phone. It's easy to click on. It's easy to bet. You just press a button, and it's already through. One thing that I haven't understood through this whole thing, and I know some states don't have, brick-and-mortar casinos. Tennessee is one of those states. I haven't understood why in a lot of places it's one or the other. It's either brick and mortar or on your phone, and you can't in a lot of places. But I think New Jersey is one of the exceptions because that's really, sort of the capital. But and Vegas as well. But it feels like it's either one or the other and not both. I don't really understand that thought process.
Well, that's your politicians at work there, and this is why New Jersey is really, I think, the standard bearer for all this now. And what they've done and how well they have rolled everything out, and they understood the balance between that you had to strike between mobile and on-site. They did it right, and they did it better than Las Vegas, really, to tell you the truth. And they're the shining example out there, and I don't know why some of these states don't do just what New Jersey did. I mean, I don't know that Mississippi's changed the laws there, but I mean, to allow mobile, but just at the hotel casino, and once you drive home, you can't use it. I mean, that sort of defeats the whole purpose. But again, there needs to be a clear direction from above, and each state, there's different entities and different parts of government. It could be, the states that have a lottery. Sometimes they're in charge of it. Sometimes it's, the horse racing. Sometimes whatever. And tribal casinos. I mean, there's not a real uniform governance of it, and I think that's why it differs from state to state.
Bruce, another great year on the air for us. I went over it on Monday. You finished the year on NFL picks, and a lot of times we're just rat-a-tat-tat throwing them at you. You finished the year, and we ask you for stuff you really like. We may need to next year. We may need to really press on that more than us throwing you kind of that random SEC game. But we know a lot of our listeners want some opinion, some direction on that. But when you lock in on a game this year, 73% picking the NFL for us. Great year. It ended on Sunday, and now the off season begins. I said the other day, Bruce, off season for college and pro football. That's when it gets messy because we can't escape to the games to bail us out of trouble.
You're right, Brett, and I think an interesting development now with the transfer portal, there is suddenly more mobility for a college athlete than there is a pro athlete. I mean, to declare and move, once that genie left the bottle, and I'm not talking about Barbara Eden here, but once that did, you can't put that back in. And the movement there, the players, and also, this has changed recruiting too. I think, especially on the basketball side. I don't know why some of these mid-major schools would even bother to recruit a high school kid right now. Just going in the transfer market. Look at South Alabama. I mean, Richie Riley, his whole team is transfers from the SEC and Big 12. Really, it's changed the dynamics of how you put teams together, and the fact these college players can now. I mean, I swear there's more mobility for a college athlete now than a pro athlete, and that is staggering.
And to your point, and you brought up a mid-major school there. Have you seen Texas Tech's roster? They've taken every best player on a lot of these mid-major programs. Kevin O'Banner from last year at Oral Roberts, Davion Warren from Hampton a couple years ago, Bryson Williams from UTEP and Fresno State. They've taken all of those guys who actually developed at those schools they were at before, and they're putting them directly onto their roster, and they're doing well because of it, because they have a wealth of experience on their team.
Oh, sure.
Oh, man, basketball.
Yeah, I mean, that Eric Musselman at Arkansas, he's been doing that for years. He was doing it at Nevada, too. We can talk about Arkansas in a second, too. Jim Larinaga at Miami. I mean, Wake Forest has come around this year because of some transfers, but it is there. But, some of them, you can still see them wanting to maybe recruit high school kids, but I don't know why a mid-major would even bother right now. I mean, especially a kid coming in is going to know, a freshman, if you want to go to South Alabama or Middle Tennessee, you know, you're going to somebody's going to jump in front of you in the line who's already a junior or senior is going to come in. It's changed the paradigm. The paradigm has switched considerably.
And something that's been unreal to me is there's been before it was the one-time transfer rule, there's been guys transfer this offseason that I thought it was impossible that they were ever going to transfer. Bo Nix leaving Auburn, and then we had yesterday Jaden Daniels leaving Arizona State when they've basically gave him the keys to the entire program. I mean, that shows you how free it is. You have a bunch of guys who have been gifted a lot of positions leaving at the drop of a hat.
Yeah, I mean, and Daniels was a shocker, and that's a huge loss for Arizona State. I still think something might happen with Herb Edwards down there. But there's a lot of basketball players who've been at their fourth school now. I mean, Charlie Moore, the guard at Miami for Larranaga. I mean, Kansas, Cal, DePaul. I mean, now Miami. I mean, a guy at four schools, and he's not the only one. There's several guys who've been at four schools. So, I mean, it used to be, two max. Once upon a time, I remember a kid named Greg Gorgian, who I actually know, high school at the Star in Southern California. 3 schools he went to. He went to ASU and UNLV. Then his dad coached at Loyola Marymount, so he went there. And that was the all-time record. We couldn't believe it. That's commonplace now.
Mm-hmm. Since it came up, I'm curious your feel on this. The Arizona State situation. They ended up firing, I think Zach Hill and Adam Brenneman, or they resigned. They sort of seem like scapegoats. What's your feel on that? Or are we going to see you think we'll see more shakeup in that staff before this offseason's over?
Well, I mean, he's shaking it up enough. I mean, that staff looked pretty good in the year 2000 with Brian Billick's on the staff and Marvin Lewis. I mean, it's like he's going to the old friends club there for Herm. I'm shocked he still has his job, and that he was, you can't just throw everybody under the bus and try to avoid the blame for the stuff that's gone on there and the shenanigans.
Right.
I mean, I kind of like Herm, and I know the people down there like him because he's personable. But the AD, Ray Anderson, used to be his agent, so he's very reluctant, I think, to cut the tie with Herm. But it's hurting ASU now, and like you said, the staff, and they've had a lot of defections. And Daniels leaving. I mean, Daniels, you're right; he was their whole offense. So. I wouldn't be surprised if there's still a move there before too long. Just keep an eye on that situation.
Bruce, college basketball really takes front and center. Tomorrow in Fayetteville, Rick Barnes in Tennessee against Arkansas, against Eric Musselman. I know you have thoughts on the Razorbacks. And also Sunday, the Tigers and resurgent Tigers, really out of nowhere. I wrote them off after the SMU loss and the near-death experience at Tulsa, but they're resurging. Sunday afternoon they play against SMU. What are your thoughts? What are your leans on those games, or maybe some other college basketball games that you really like more?
Yeah, there's some interesting ones. By the way, they probably just tipped this one off. I kind of like Butler against St. John's. They just tipped that one off today. Over the total, Ohio U and Kent State tonight. I think that total's way too low. Arkansas, we mentioned them earlier here, and you just mentioned them a moment ago, Brett. I know I've been all over the map with Arkansas this year, and I had thought for much of the season that Musselman went too far this time, and you just can't keep bringing in transfers like that and turning the roster over every year. But all of a sudden, it's starting to click, and there's a few other teams like that too. Pittsburgh's another one. A lot of turnover. All of a sudden, they're starting to play well. But more specifically with Arkansas, Stanley Umude, who was the transfer in from South Dakota, who was a real volume shooter, deluxe, great three-point shooter for the Coyotes. He had been a little bit of a disappointment because Musselman was also trying to fit in the rotations and how they worked. All of a sudden, he has been on fire. 6 threes the other night at Mizzou. He had another 6 triples the other week against Georgia. Changes the dynamic completely because this team has had some problems shooting three-pointers this year. I mean, real problems. That game against South Carolina about a month ago, maybe tonight, was the most remarkable game I've seen all year. Arkansas scored 75 points. I still don't know how it did it because they missed all 11 of their three-point shots. Not just missed.
Yeah, I mean,
they missed the rim on half of those shots. I mean, they were so off. But if Umude and Note start to shoot threes, this team is a threat to get to the Final Four. So keep an eye on that. And I think it's a tough spot for Tennessee off of the Kentucky game. and the win, which is a big one for Tennessee, but letdown, that's possible. One other one tomorrow in the SEC, very interesting. Alabama and Kentucky. We talked about three-pointers a moment ago with Arkansas, and you got to go there with Alabama. They shoot more and they shoot them better. Not always, though. The first game against Kentucky, 3 for 30 from three-point range. They lose 66-55. They can turn that around pretty quick. And Alabama's a very dangerous team with some of these wins that the Tide has this year. Gonzaga and Houston, and they are very, very dangerous. And so I would keep an eye on that game tomorrow. I still thought, into this week, Kentucky would have been one of my top 4 seeds. I'm not as sure now after the Tennessee game the other night, and it's kind of important, I think, if Coach Cal has a dream to stay on the top line, he better win this game against the Tide tomorrow.
So another game, before we get to the Tigers game on Sunday versus SMU, Texas Tech, Texas. And I remember the first time around, Texas going into Texas Tech, Chris Beard was getting the business. There's no question about it. This one will actually be in Texas. Do you have any feel either way on that one? I remember the first time around, Texas Tech won by 13, I believe.
It's going to be a low-scoring game. I mean, both these teams play defense like crazy. Beard's got the Longhorns doing it. It's a big game for Texas Tech, too. But you look at these score lines, that these teams have had, especially Texas, lower scoring. I haven't seen what a total is going to be here yet. I'm going to think around 120 probably. And that might be too high. It might even be lower than that. It might even be 118 or so. But I'm not even sure if I'd go over if it got into the 1-teens. Defense, defense, defense. And that's going to be the calling card, especially for Texas if it's going to make a run in the big dance. Texas Tech's going to be there. But again, as we know, we'll get into this next month. But the dance is all about matchups, and there's going to be some teams out there that are not going to react as well to facing either of these two, especially Texas, than others. So, again, we'll just have to see how the matchups fall in March. But lower scoring, it's going to be an under tomorrow between those two, I think.
Your thoughts on the Tigers and Sunday's game against SMU?
I think they're both going to make the dance. I think right now this is more, especially with SMU beating Houston recently here, this is more of a placing game. I think the American's going to get 3 bids, and I think they're both there. Memphis has had enough wins. The shooting has gotten a lot better. You're seeing Nolly and some of these guys come in with much better shooting in recent games. Penny sometimes I'm not sure, but they seem to be playing better lately. So I think Memphis might be worth a look, but I think this matchup now is beyond being sort of a bubble eliminator. I think both these teams are going to be in the field.
You think it's a particularly soft bubble this year, or
maybe? I mean, we seem to say that every year, though. That's true. I'll say this: on February 18th today. February 18th, the bubble is soft. It usually is this time of year. March 8th. It might not be so soft. A lot will happen in the next couple of weeks, and that's not too far away before we get to conference tournaments, guys.
There's no question about it. Bruce, where do we find more of you?
Check us out online, goldsheet.com. Now, we got this basketball publication every day, and for the next week, it's just college, but that's all right. I write most of those games up, and we got a lot of good games, including tonight's card. It's all at goldsheet.com. My picks are there. They're also at Vegas Insider and DonBest.com.
Bruce, appreciate the heck out of it. Thanks for joining us.
Have a good weekend, boys.
Talk to you next week.
Good luck, Bruce. Good luck to you. Bruce Marshall with us every Friday from the Gold Sheet. And it's time for our Gould Salon and Spa. Who's got style? And I think it's got to be, a lot of years for the All-Star game. Well, it's just a break for us to kind of put things together around the Memphis Grizzlies. But this weekend, we really get to enjoy all the All-Star festivities. And the first of what we know will be many, many more to come for Ja Morant and Desmond Bain and Jaren Jackson. It's going to be one of these years soon, Gabe, but we're going to have 2 or 3 starters. And Gould Salon and Spa, they've been turning heads since 1932. Mr. Sam Gould, he had a dream. It's been realized to provide his clientele with a truly professional and unique fashion experience. I know a lot of people for Valentine's, the Super Bowl for Gould Salon and Spa, had the Gould's gift cards for a lot of people. That's the gift that's always perfect. It's always the right size. It's always the right color, and you can use it at any time of year at any of the locations. And now with sons and grandsons and valuable associates from a small hair salon to today's juggernaut, you see the upscale ambiance, the chic style that once was considered Hollywood luxury that we have right here in Memphis. Go to GouldSalonSpa.com. GouldSalonSpa.com. You can order a gift card there. And that really is the perfect gift for any time of year. A commitment to providing a unique, fashion-forward experience. 20 years of distinction. Again, that Goulds card at GouldSalonSpa.com. Exclusive to our area, the best holiday gift for any season is that Goulds gift card. The best spa packages, salon products, and those Goulds gift cards are always the big hit. What's your Goulds style?
You know what? And I thought you hit it on the head. There's no question about it. But Memphis today, a player that they ended up offering named Hansel Emmanuel from Life Christian Academy in Florida, 6'4", 175. He's a combo guard. He showed the Gould style of the week because Hansel Emmanuel right now has one arm, plays with one arm, lost his left arm as a 6-year-old after a wall he was climbing on collapsed on top of him. And I have seen some mixtapes of Hansel Emmanuel. The dribbling is unbelievable. He can get to the rim unbelievably. I'm glad to see him get an offer from Memphis because he is defying all odds and playing at such a high level, even though there's certain setbacks that he's had in his life that a lot of people couldn't get through.
No kidding. I mean, most people wouldn't even attempt. Way to go.
And what our Go Tigers 247 guy, what do you think of Hansel?
I love him. I mean, this is a guy that, you see a lot of these guys and who are trying and this guy's for real. I mean, this guy is taking teams with literally one arm. I mean, he's phenomenal. I believe he's a 3-star on 247 right now. So I mean, this is a legitimate offer. This isn't anything. Right. There's nothing. Don't think, Penny just wants to look good after cursing out the media or whatever. This is legit. This kid can play. This is a legit offer. I would love. There's nothing I would want more in life than to see him in a Memphis jersey.
And it's the best offer he holds right now. I think before this it was Tennessee State and a couple of other schools. But Hansel Emmanuel, I've seen his mixtapes, Brett. He jumps out of the gym. Yeah. He posterizes people. And the way he dribbles, he can dribble out of distress somehow.
He's got good handles.
I mean, I've seen clips of him being double teamed in the corner, and he's getting out of it. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yes, he has definitely shown some style with what he's been able to overcome in his life. Now, we're going to go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we bring on our good friend Drew Barrett from ESPN Arkansas to talk some Razorbacks, some SEC, and college baseball opening up today. Wonder how much he's covering that. You're listening to Sports 56 98.5.
Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio, presented by Tito's Vodka, from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Acura of Memphis invites you to experience the all-new, completely redesigned 2022 Acura MDX. It's the most advanced SUV Acura has ever built. Experience the convenience of full connectivity, including built-in Alexa, Wi-Fi hotspot, and wireless charging, from the stunning interior complete with third-row seating. Stop by our state-of-the-art facility and take advantage of our aggressive APR offers today at Ridgeway and 385. Or shop online from the convenience of home now. Visit AcuraofMemphis.com.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. Roofing and siding, gutters too. We're the pros you can trust to get it done right. Call on us. 5-Ash Roofing, the name to know. 5-Ash Roofing, the only way to go. 5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. 5-Ash Roofing.
Is that not the corniest thing you've ever heard? Can you believe I paid good money for that silly jingle? Well, the experts say make it memorable, and I think I got my money's worth. 5-Ash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. 5-Ash Roofing, 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing is now currently hiring all positions. If you're ready to take your career to the next level, please apply today. Choate's is offering huge sign-on bonuses to seasoned technicians, plumbers, installers, and air duct cleaners. At Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing, we offer a career, not just a job, by putting you in a paid training program to develop your technical and customer service skills to best serve our customers. Choate's offers top pay in the Mid-South, weekly pay, paid vacation and holidays, company matching retirement account, health, dental, vision, and life insurance, and Christmas, Thanksgiving, and birthday bonuses. If this sounds like an exciting opportunity for you, then we should talk. So call us at 347-8086 or apply online at CHOATSHVAC.com under the careers link. Come, join our family.
The Family Leisure family is growing, and they want you to help them grow even more. Family Leisure is now hiring for multiple positions. They're looking for self-motivated, goal-oriented people to come and join their family. Some of the positions include sales for swimming pools, hot tubs, and patio furniture. There's sales and associates for chemicals. Parts and service department associates are needed. Service technicians, you got to have a valid driver's license, and cashiers are needed too. Family Leisure is also looking to add to their installation crews for building above-ground pools. Send your resume to Family Leisure now, 2120 Whitten Road, Memphis, Tennessee, 38133, or email memphis@familyleisure.com. You can also call 901-371-9090. So come and join the family at Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun and you all come together.
The spring sales event is rocking and rolling at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Want 43 MPG Highway in these crazy times? We Gossett in 2022 Mitsubishi Mirage, $239 a month or $16,715. 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, 27 MPG combined in an SUV, $349 a month or $26,010. Plus, redesigned 2022 Outlander. We Gossett at $398 a month. Not a lease, you own them. And get our stellar 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. That's Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online anytime at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 72 months Mirage, NH001803, MSRP 17465 Sport, NU003361, MSRP 27010, Outlander NZO53093, MSRP 29615. Includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/28/22, dealer stock only.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Just a programming note, when we get off the air today, we will join in progress Ole Miss baseball versus Charleston Southern. We're about to bring on Drew Barrett at dbarrett36 on Twitter. I have to start here. It looks like Arkansas in game one of the year down 2-0 in the top of the fifth to Illinois State. What's that about, Drew? Drew, you there?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't hear the rest of your question as soon as you brought me on it.
I said, what's that about? Illinois State up over the number 2 team in the country. Game one in the top of the fifth.
Well, Mr. Kuhn, it's game one, opening day. It's a lot of excitement, hope, just like there is around Major League Baseball. If there ever is Major League Baseball again. Opening day is a day of hope, and I think that down 2-0 early, it's not the worst thing that could happen. Mm-hmm. And plus, there's a lot of question marks around that baseball team about starting pitching. I mean, obviously, how do you replace the Golden Strike Award winner, Kevin Kopps, a guy who could technically be classified as a closer, who would come in for the last 4 or 5 innings and close the game, I guess. A guy who started the last game of the season against North Carolina State and threw 8 innings. There's a lot of question marks around the pitching staff, and only being down 2-0 in the fifth, that means Connor Nolan's doing at least a decent job, so those bats are going to get warmed up. It's a little cold in Texas. It's only about 46 degrees, so, luckily it's not the minor leagues. There's no excuse of leaving the bat somewhere, as the Cardinals always like to say, well, the Cardinals lost their bats to Memphis, no excuses like that. Just a little cold day.
100th year of baseball season for baseball starts today for Dave Van Horn. They've had 2 coaches over the last 50-some-odd years, Norm Bryant to Dave Van Horn. And today the Razorbacks will draw probably 8, 9, close to 10,000 people. Mississippi State got an announced crowd today at Duty Noble of 10,000. Same for Ole Miss. Drew, I promise, Norm DeBryan played most of the 70 not in front of 10,000 people total.
Oh, exactly. I was listening to actually an interview with Norm DeBryan earlier today after my show, and talking about
We're losing Drew.
He was handed a manila envelope with 2 pieces of paper describing everything with the program. You couldn't fit everything in the program today on 2 flash drives, let alone 2 pieces of paper. And talking about how they had to get with the Legion Club to try to get a feel for the community. Talking about playing games on the regular in Fort Smith just so they'd have a decent playing field to go on, and to see where the program was then to now where Dave Van Horn has had it in the last 20 years, only missing the tournament once, is just insane. I mean, we're talking 10 Omaha appearances in its luxurious 100-year history. 1 foul ball pop up on the first base side away from winning the College World Series against Oregon State. It's absolutely insane. I mean, we had so many people, not just this week, but in the last few months, and especially with my co-host being the voice of Arkansas baseball, Phil Hilton,
right?
People every single week, regardless of what time frame it is. I mean, we could go back to September, middle of football, and somebody's on the text line. Hey, Phil, how's the starting pitching going to look? Or I heard there's some rumors around some shoulder injuries. How's Jordan Battle's going to do at shortstop? He's going to have just a stellar of a year this year. How do you place a bat off the fence like Charlie Welsh? Like, people, they love it. I mean, I would honestly say the fandom for baseball for the University of Arkansas, it's higher than football. I mean, they live and breathe college baseball in Northwest Arkansas and throughout the natural state.
And you said there's questions around this team with pitching and what have you. How do you think they'll handle SEC play? This is a lot of good teams this year. Just playing today, you have the 2 team, the 3 team, the 4 team, the 5 team in the country all playing, all from the SEC. How do you think they'll be able to handle conference play?
Well, they should be fine. And, we talked about it on our show today that it's a non-conference play. It's basically preseason when you play in the SEC, because there's really nothing you can do against any other conference, against any other opponent, that would help your resume for that NCAA tournament better than what you're going to see for 10 weeks in SEC play. There's literally no better competition out there than in the SEC. And we had pitching coach Matt Hobbs on the show earlier this week, and that's been the biggest question mark is, what's this rotation going to look like? Who are your setup guys going to be? Do you have a certified closer? What's the rotation going to be? Who's going to be the ace? Because the assumed ace of this team, Paulette, had to have Tommy John surgery a few weeks ago. So he's going to be out for the entire season and possibly missing some of next year. So that even made the question mark even bigger. But like the guy going today, he could be it. Connor Nolan, he's coming off an injury, so you don't really know what you have in him, what kind of stuff he's going to bring. But from all reports from Matt Hobbs and DVH and everybody else around that program, that his stuff is just as nasty as it was before he got hurt. So these next few weeks until you enter SEC play against Kentucky, they're all just trial and error times. Maybe you run a guy, definitely not this week, but, somewhere in non-conference, you let a guy go a little bit longer, or you cut him short, and, maybe you go with a Tampa Bay Rays pitching mentality where you start on the back half of your bullpen and work backwards. There's going to be a lot of different experiments, but luckily, and obviously today's game being down 2-0 isn't,
Well, Drew, you might have
showing.
You might have to stay on the phone with us because they just hit 2 home runs this inning. It's 2-2.
Hey, that's where it's
for your listeners' sake, you might have to stay on the phone with us this whole time until the game's over.
That's what I was about to get to. Is that it doesn't matter who on this team you can plug into the starting nine. They've got some backs. There is a lot of power. And I mean, last year you're losing some of that power with some guys that obviously got drafted and were big keys to the super regional run last year for Dave Van Horn. But I mean, we're talking. You shouldn't be surprised if this team routinely puts up north of 8 runs a game. Like, the power is there. Right? This team is Earl Weaver's ultimate dream. It's a lineup full of power hitters to where the Earl Weaver special could come at any time. Type of team where it doesn't matter from 1 through 9. They've all got power. They've all got big bats, and they can all knock it long and go yards.
Earl Weaver loved the 3-run home run. He wasn't playing any station-to-station stuff. Drew Barrett, our guest, Drew, I love a list. I bet y'all have done this, but if you went through the 14 SEC schools and you listed football, basketball, baseball head coaches, you got Nick Saban at Alabama in football, and Nate Oates is really good in basketball, but baseball takes a big step backwards. Well, at Vandy, you got Tim Corbin in baseball. Then Jerry Stackhouse doing better, but then you take a big step backward with Clark Lee in football. Arkansas is the most flat line, trend line, all successful and mega successful as any school out there in SEC, maybe in the country.
Maybe, especially with the way things are going. Sam Pittman's obviously got the football program rolling, getting 9 wins this past season. Eric Musselman's got everything going, and just the 20-year resume of Dave Van Horn. And we had a caller call in today and ultimately tried to get us to say something negative about Eric Musselman. I don't know if he had a grudge against us or if he just was curious to see if there were any negative sides to him. And me and Phil were talking about it. We couldn't come up with a single thing about Eric Musselman and the way that he coaches, the way he recruits, the way he runs the program altogether. That would be viewed as a negative or, an area to work on. And when you have solid leadership like that in your 3 main head coaches, and heck, you can even throw Mike Neighbors as the women's basketball team in there. He's had a long tenure at Arkansas, and they be having that program going strong as well. And you have a guy like Hunter Yurchek, who is the exact opposite of Jeff Long. You got a success.
Yeah, he's a winner. Jeff Long was a loser.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to go very far. You just got to point at the scoreboard to say that obviously Hunter Yurchek's better than Jeff Long.
Now, Drew, I had struggled at the beginning of the SEC season with Arkansas losing the first 3 to Mississippi State, Vanderbilt, and then Texas A&M. They have rattled off 10 of 11. They've been unreal. Now, the question still remains for me, having watched this team, what do you think about them come tournament time? What do you think they can do? Do they have a chance, in your opinion, to do some damage in the NCAA tournament?
Well, I think they have a chance to definitely make the second weekend, and that's where I've always said you're playing with house money, right? You get to the Sweet 16, you hang a banner that matters, and then you just go out there and play. You go out there and see what happens, and the way that Arkansas has been playing over the last 11 games, even the game that they lost, holding Alabama to 68 total points, 1 from 13 from beyond the arc in the second half alone. That's incredible defense. That's really the main story of this team, of how they've been able to win. It's been grit and grind mentality. Yeah, they have the ability to go out there and score 90-plus points a game, but they are ruthless on the defensive side, getting steals left and right. Jalen Williams is a charge machine. I think he's up to now 38, 39 on the year of forced charges taken. And when you have a team that's built around a defensive mindset, right, that's what travels, that's what wins you ball games, and that's what ultimately can be the factor that gets the job done in the NCAA tournament. I don't know if this is a Final Four team, and I definitely don't know if it's a national championship team. This is a team that is fun to watch. They play great defense. They do all the little things right, and that's the thing that you couldn't say 2 months ago.
And
right.
help on the way next year.
Help is on the way next year. That recruiting class.
Help is definitely on the way next year with Nick Smith Jr. just to kind of be the guy. I mean, a guy who's one of 4 finalists for the Naismith High School Player of the Year award, which is an incredible honor. For one, a guy from North Little Rock. He was actually in Fort Smith earlier in the week. I didn't have a chance to go see him play against Northside, but from all reports that from people that I talked to that were there that have seen him play this year in person with North Little Rock, a nationally ranked team. I think they're like number 18th in the country in high school basketball this year. It says that he's a guy that can transform a program by himself. You know, he's one of those generational type of talents. And I'm a little bit on the fence. You know, when we talk about guys like that, you talk about the 5 stars, the big recruits, top 5 guys. I haven't gone really into detail, but I think your audience will understand this better.
You went to Memphis.
Mine.
You went to Memphis.
Exactly. Your audience would understand better than mine.
You hold out until you see them play. I get it. I think I get it, Drew.
Just because they have 5 stars in front of their name and they're a top 10 recruit doesn't mean it's going to work out. I mean, not just to go ahead and switch to Memphis, but Memphis is better without Amani Bates. I mean, it's not even close. Like, him off the floor has been, I think, the best thing that's happened to this team. Well, because you don't have to baby him. You don't have to give him minutes to try to get going and ultimately waste minutes.
I think part of that, Penny has to take responsibility for putting that on him as a young guy at 17 years old, thinking that he could run the team, he could be the main ball handler. But let me ask you this: are you bought all the way back in on the Tigers at this point?
Well, let's just say, Gabe, there's been a certain flag that has been flying on a certain car all through Fort Smith throughout the week.
There you go.
And it's driving some people crazy, but I'm flying it proud and loud. And, you know, here's the thing, and I've gotten some criticisms. Like, I've talked about it as little as possible on my show because, let's be honest, most people in Arkansas couldn't give two you-know-what about how University of Memphis basketball is going. But some people did try to blast me and say, you know, you were down on this team. You were yelling about Penny a few weeks ago. And I was just, hey guys, that was stand-up. All right? I'm a fanatic. I'm a fan.
I was emotional. Come on.
We all knew.
You ever have bad days? Everybody has bad days.
Exactly. We all knew I wasn't going anywhere. Like, okay, maybe I went a little far. And I'm happy to sit here and eat a delicious plate of crow in front of me. I will eat it with a smile on my face if they continue to do what they have done. Because that game against Houston was absolutely phenomenal. Obviously getting the win against Cincy on Tuesday. And if they can keep it going, yeah, I mean, I'm back on board. I'm back bought in. Of course I am.
Big one on Sunday.
I'm never leaving.
Big one on Sunday. Huge one on Sunday versus SMU.
Yeah, it is, and that's going to be the one to kind of see really where this team is going and really what their ceiling, I think, can be if they can continue to put these stretches together. And ultimately, if Jalen Dern can continue to look as good as he has, I think that, you know, I wouldn't put this team, you know, in the same category as Arkansas right now, but once you get to the tournament, you can get some favorable matchups. You know,
one game at a time.
That's why it's called March Madness, right? Anything can happen.
Yep. Drew, appreciate it, man. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, I appreciate it, Gabe. Brett, be safe driving up to Fayetteville this weekend.
I have. Thank you, Drew.
All right, Drew. Appreciate you, man. And you can follow him.
Thank you, buddy.
You can follow him on Twitter at dbarrett36 and listen to him on ESPN Arkansas.
Yeah, we all let a little fandom come out, but I don't blame Drew. Now, I saw both of y'all's eyes glaze over on Earl Weaver. Y'all up to speed on him yet?
I'm not up to speed on Earl Weaver. I need a lesson.
Great. A very feisty pepper pot manager, the Baltimore Orioles on championship teams, and he lived for the three.
Now you're going to have
for the 3-run home run.
Now you're going to have to teach me a lesson on pepper pot. What's pepper pot?
a little feisty, mean SOB.
There we go. Got you.
Hey, look, everybody, the go-to place to sell any vehicle this weekend for some crazy great cash, and you can get a check today, this weekend, anytime, is right there at Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet. And you don't have to buy one of the All-Star car trucks. You just bring yours in, and even if you owe money on it, they'll write you a check right there on the spot. But if you're ready to go car and truck shopping, the place to be is All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. All the Silverados, they're right there at Olive Branch. Ask for Kevin, Drew, Jeff, any member of the great team down there, and they'll show you all the new Chevys, and more are on the way. Our All-Star friends, they've been taking care of us through the years, and they've got the best 21s and 22s, and these will go fast. So try to get down there this weekend, get down there soon. Pre-order whatever you want. Zero interest financing is available. Your good credit deserves zero, and you'll get it at All-Star. Go to allstarautogroup.com and look at all the pre-owned and certified pre-owned Chevy, Silverados, Tahoes, Suburbans, and go big. Check out the new Stingray. Remember, it's not South Haven. It's not Mount Moriah. It's not Collierville. It's not the Pike. It's got to be Olive Branch down Highway 78, first exit at Kraft Goodman Road, and you're there at All-Star Chevrolet. Find new roads to All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch or go to allstarautogroup.com.
We're late for a break. NBA discussion when we come back. Stay with us.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ. Listen to us daily on 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world at sports56whbq.com or on the Sports 56 app.
I often say they've set the bar for the way car business should be done at Homer Skelton Hyundai. You know how close that is. It's right there at Highway 78, Lamar Avenue, and Craft Road, the very first exit in Mississippi. I say it because they always come up with new innovations. And right now, when we've had all these shortages on new cars, Homer Skelton Hyundai is always going to come through for you. You won't pay more than the sticker price for a new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's Chris True's pledge. You'll never pay more than sticker price. Those other guys, they could charge you a whole lot more for that new car because they know there's a shortage. That never happens at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's part of the philosophy and the team that's been together for about 15 years now. You want the best of service? You want the best of products? It's the combination and the trust you'll always get from the best guys around, Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch.
I'm with John Burgos in the alley at the world-famous Rendezvous. John, it's so good to see you. How are things at the restaurant?
Thank you, Brett. We are here and we're making it. I have to say a big thank you to all of our customers that ordered food during the curbside days, bought gift certificate when times were slow, ordered food to be shipped from our shipping kitchen, and then came back down to eat when our doors reopened. We owe a debt to the Memphis and surrounding community for supporting us when we need it. I hope y'all all come eat some barbecue with us, but I also hope you'll support our local restaurants. And if your service is a little slow or an item isn't on the menu that you enjoy, cut them a little slack. Hopefully it'll be there soon.
Thank you, John. We appreciate you for feeding all of us, and we will take that advice to heart.
Brett, we also have a new twist at the Rendezvous. We now have outdoor dining. It's in the side alley along the Rendezvous, not the one in the front. And depending on the weather and depending on staffing, please call ahead to make sure we're open. And we hope it becomes a mainstay here at the Rendezvous.
Mr. Charlie Burgos' world-famous Rendezvous in the alley in downtown Memphis.
Golfers, tee it up this year at Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the hottest new arrivals from Callaway. Featuring the new Rogue ST drivers, Callaway's most stable driver ever, with tungsten speed cartridge, jailbreak speed frame, and AI flash face. Engineered for max speed and forgiveness. 4 different models to fit every golfer's needs. Think speed? Go Rogue. Swing by Edwin Watts Golf Shops and get custom fit for the new Rogue ST drivers today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee, and shop us online at worldwidegolfshops.com.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
So today, Caesars Sportsbook dropped their shortest odds to win NBA MVP heading into the All-Star break. One, Joel Embiid, plus 150, and he helped his case last night. He was unreal last night. Nikola Jokic at plus 350 is second, tied with Giannis at plus 350 as well. Then it is Steph Curry fourth at plus 1,000. And looky here, at number 5, Ja Morant at plus 1,200. And it's unbelievable to think he's put himself in this position. And considering he missed some games earlier in the year and is still here.
Oh, yeah, and that's when we thought, oh, no, here's doomsday, and the team could unravel. I want to ask you guys, I want some response at the AutoZone text line with this, 901-360-8255. Does where a team finish in the standings, should that matter for MVP? Should Jokic be MVP on a 6th seed? Should Steph Curry be MVP maybe on a team seeded one behind the Grizzlies? What if Ja and the Grizzlies were the 2, and the Dubs and Curry were the 3? What if Embiid and the 76ers finish 5th or 6th seeded?
Should it matter is a different conversation. I think it does matter. I think it absolutely 100% does matter.
It does, and it should matter.
You know what I was thinking about in the East? And I for the life of me, I can't understand why he's not in this conversation right now. DeMar DeRozan has been ridiculous this year. 28 points per game, 5 assists per game, 5 rebounds per game, all-star starter. He just broke a record of Wilt Chamberlain's for 7 straight games with 35-plus points on 50% or better shooting. I don't know. And we talked about Chris Paul last year being in these conversations, being one of the top 5 guys. How is DeMar DeRozan not in this conversation?
I don't get it. And look, on those,
and the Bulls
3 or 4 in front of it.
And the Bulls are second in the East. Bulls are second in the East.
And a lot of time without Levine with the Bulls, or some missed time.
And also you can say, well, has he missed time? No, DeMar has played 55 and started 55. They played 59 games. There are 4 people ahead of Ja, though, to answer your question. Steph Curry, Giannis, Jokic, and Embiid.
All right, Giannis is going to be the tough one. I missed last night on some tips I put out. The Bucks are going to be around at the end, but what if the Bucks finish 4th or 5th? And they could. It's a lot of compacted cars. I mean, the cars at the finish line for the Eastern Conference will be a lot more congested than Daytona this weekend.
But Joel Embiid, to me right now, I think the media sort of narrative, as we tend to do at times, I think the media narrative just about finished with Joel Embiid being the MVP. What he did last night, I don't know if you got to catch him against the Bucks. They ended up winning 76ers 123-120, 42 points, 14 rebounds, 5 assists. He's a cheat code out there, man. I mean, he can score from wherever he wants. And I thought about this last night because we just got done watching one of the all-time greats in the Super Bowl, and I want to draw this comparison. I want to see what you guys think of this. He's kind of the Aaron Donald of the NBA, where you can double team him, you can triple team him. It does not matter. Yeah. The production is still going to happen. He's still going to get it wherever he wants it.
Yeah. I'm seeing a tweet right now from Ross Dellinger on college football, and his tweet reads, CFP board chair Mark Keenum, president of Mississippi State, tells Sports Illustrated the expansion vote was 8-3. As many expected, ACC, Pac-12, and Big Ten voted against the 12-team proposal to expand starting in 2024.
Who knew that damn alliance?
Anybody can blame this on the SEC. You cannot blame this on the SEC.
Well, Greg Sankey knows. You know what, Greg Sankey? This is what he heard. He heard $450 million of revenue, as well as the other 7 guys. And they said, okay, yes.
Let's do it.
Absolutely. The other 3, though, they're trying to flex their muscles, Brett. It's the alliance. You notice those three conferences we're talking about, they created an alliance in the offseason when all of these things were spiraling out of control.
The rest of them can proceed without them.
We'll see what happens with it. I don't get the holdup from those particular conferences. I think the Pac-12 and the ACC should absolutely be on board because year in, year out, you don't know if you're going to get any representation in a 14 playoff. You don't know if you're ever going to get a national champion. And with the ACC, especially with Clemson being down, you don't know when Miami's going to get all the way back up that mountaintop. It beats the heck out of me, but they're clearly serving some form of self-interest, as many do in these situations. That'll do it for hour number 2. Hour number 3, ready to talk some Tiger basketball. Tiger basketball on the road versus SMU on Sunday. Big game, big matchup. We bring on Jason Munns from the CA and the Tigers Beat to discuss.
Hey, Jeff Allen, the Kia President's Day sales event is sure to make all your customers happy at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah.
We are ready to make you smile. Check it out. 2022 Kia Forte LXS, we got it covered at $199 per month. And a 2022 Kia Soul LX, $219 a month. Both $27.99 due at signing.
Plus 2022 Kia Sorento LX, $308 a month, $34.99 due at signing, and all 36-month leases. And they all come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia Mount Moriah.
Ask for Jeff Allen, Gossett Kia South, 2680 Mount Moriah or KiaMountMoriah.com. All 36-month leases, $650 acquisition fee, $30,000 per year, 20 cents excess mileage, Forte, NE 456, 841, MSRP 21090, Soul N78, 23215, MSRP 21515, Sorrento NG 104027, MSRP 31460. Includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, must finance through KMF, excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/28/22, dealer stock only.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. If you need a new roof for your home or business, we hope to hear from you and will work hard to earn your business. We are experts and certified in residential and commercial roofing, siding, and gutter installation. I have been serving the Memphis area for over 20 years, and now with 2 of my sons working with me, we plan to be here for years to come. So if you need a roof, please give us a call. On a personal note, what a great time it is to be a Memphis sports fan. With the Grizzlies and the Redbirds and 901 FC, not to mention Tigers football and basketball, it's going to be a fun year. Thanks to Coach Silverfield and Coach Hardaway and their staffs for their dedication to the student and athletes, the University of Memphis, the City of Memphis, and us fans. Five Ash Roof Services, a proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
If you want to make money in sales, Flynn Broadcasting wants you. If you can sell, Flynn Broadcasting has a great career waiting for you. If you can sell, we have great benefits, salary, commission, sales leads, and a great place to work. If you can sell, let us know today. Send your resume to jobs@flynn.com. Can everyone sell? No. But if you can, Flynn Broadcasting wants you. Apply today at jobs@flynn.com. Start your great career today at jobs@flynn.com. Flynn Broadcasting wants you.
I know the sweetest thing in Memphis, and I know it's been around for 120 years. You know, I'm talking about Dinstall's, and it's time to stock up heavy on Cashew Crunch, Heavenly Crunch, Turtlettes, all of your favorite Dinstall's treats to watch the playoff games and to watch all the basketball. It's so easy to get. The sweetest thing in Memphis, all you have to do is head to Laurelwood or head to Germantown and Poplar right across from the hospital, or go where they make the candies. That's on Pleasant View. There's nothing that says Memphis better than Cashew Crunch with that little tinge of coconut, or the Turtlettes. Let's face it, there's nothing better than Dinstall's chocolate. That's the mainstay of all candies, isn't it? Milk, chocolate, although their dark chocolate is pretty darn good. And if you get the peppermint with the dark chocolate and put it in the freezer, you're going to love it. So many ways to love Dinstall's. 115 years of making Memphis oh so sweet.
Folks are falling head over heels for these wheels and deals. Colin Johnston here from DeSoto Auto Sales, and it's the season of love. I'm on a mission to help you meet your match. So if you've fallen out of love with your old ride or other dealers have left you brokenhearted, we've got a solution for every situation. Low monthly payments? No problem. Low down payments? You could drive for just a couple bucks down. Trade-ins? We're paying way more than it's worth. And you could even lower your monthly payment in the process. My For the People credit approval process hooks you up with the banks and lenders who want to approve you. It's time to fall in love, Memphis, when you drive a nicer, newer car for less. I'm Colin Johnston, and I'm your dealer. For the People. See all the wheels and deals at DeSotoAutosales.com. That's DeSotoAutosales.com. Credit requires bank approval. Negative equity may be refinanced. Vehicle purchase price determines actual trade allowance. For example, 2014 Ford Fusion 0 down, $264 per month payment at 5.5 APR for 72 months. Offer absolutely ends February 28th, 2022.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Final hour of the day, final hour of the week, and no better place to start with it than at the Commercial Appeal beat writer for the Tigers. That's Jason Munns. He's been with us all year, and what a different complexion this season has taken on over, say, 3 or 4 weeks ago for sure. We talked with Jason about all things Tigers, including the biggest game of the year, Sunday afternoon on the campus of SMU. After I tell you about the title sponsor of this hour, and that's DeSoto Auto Sales at 5704 Goodman Road, online at DeSotoAutosales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and the surrounding area. You'll be treated like family at DeSoto Auto Sales by kind, courteous employees, laid-back atmosphere, no high-pressure sales. All the cars thoroughly examined, checked out bumper to bumper, and if it's not on the lot, they'll go find that special car just for you. Every make, every model, they have it at DeSoto Auto Sales. Go online to the website, to DeSotoAutosales.com, and check out the referrals, all the testimonials, the repeat customers at DeSoto Auto Sales. They do guarantee this. You'll have the ultimate car experience because they care about your time, and they know we live in a world today that time really matters. It's a hustle-bustle world. They know that. They keep it very, very simple. Within 45 minutes, find that car you want, test drive that car, credit approved, paperwork completed. You're out of there in time to do it over your busy lunch hour or like right now to get ready to start your weekend at DeSoto Auto Sales at 5704 Goodman Road. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience at DeSoto Auto Sales.
We bring in our man from the CA, Jason Munns, on the Tigers beat at Munsley on Twitter. Jason, how are you, man?
Good. How are you guys?
Doing well. I think it's unreal. And you look at the schedule. SMU Tigers played them January 20th, and a month later they play them February 20th. The conversation around Tigers basketball between then and now has done a complete 180.
How about this? February 5th, Memphis is 9-8.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I could be getting no, that's not right. February 5th.
They would have been 9-8 on January 20th after the SMU game.
Yeah, February 5th before the UCF game.
Mm-hmm.
Memphis is 69 in the net. 10 days later, they've beaten UCF, Tulane, Houston, and Cincinnati, and they're 40th in the net. 10 days. That's remarkable.
And Jason, the night of the Saturday night, February 5th game against UCF, we're talking pregame, and I've written the sports obituary. I declared over. You said, hold on. You've been around too long to know there's a lot. These are long seasons, and you have to be healthy. You have to actually have your men to go to war with, and from that night on, you've been prophetic.
It's a lot of things. Health is a big one, though. I mean, there's no it's very, very clear that DeAndre Williams is the difference maker. With him in the lineup, they are a very, very good team. But yeah, I mean, they weren't, and I've been saying this all along, and that there's a lot of people out there who say, who cares? I don't want to hear about injuries. I don't want to hear about health. Everybody has to deal with injuries, so on and so forth. I have never been a subscriber to that mentality. I mean, of course, yes, I understand everybody has to deal with injuries. But as I've said many, many times, this was a completely different – this was not Houston who lost Marcus Sasser and Tremont Mark at the beginning of the season for the season. Like, this was a situation where it was like 3, 4 starters and a bench player or 2 all out at once. And it wasn't like it was the same 4 or 5 guys. It was a revolving door. You never knew who you were going to have game to game. I mean, that stuff that's not the typical, and they had to deal with it for like a month or 6 weeks or whatever it was. That was not that is a completely separate type of deal than what most people usually have to deal with. And yeah, I mean, like, it's common sense. Like, if you've got your best players who aren't playing, well, you're probably not going to be very good. Mm-hmm. And they've proven it. They got everybody back, and they have been white hot.
And something, is it fair to say that sort of the absence of DeAndre Williams, of some of these guys, of Landers Nolly at a time, made him realize that maybe he should rely on these guys down the stretch, because they have been the difference. All of the vets have been the guys showing poise, have been the guys leading them in this 6-game winning streak.
Honestly, I don't know what made him realize it, but he has said multiple times in the last couple of weeks, not only to national media, which he's done, but also to me and other local media, that the way he went about his business, the Tigers' business earlier in the season, when he was, really trying to shoehorn I mean, he's gonna say, I shouldn't have pushed so hard to make it be about the freshman,
right? And
he'll say it as the freshman, but I think we can all agree that when he says that, he's talking about Amani Bates. Mm-hmm. That was, he was trying to force a square peg into a round hole, for much of that. The first month or 6 weeks, and it just wasn't working. And so, but to get back to the point, I don't know necessarily what made him finally decide to publicly acknowledge the fact that wasn't the best for him or the program, but he has. Mm-hmm. He has absolutely. And I think probably that is part of it. What you said, not having DeAndre Williams for so long, not having Landers Nolly for 4 or 5 games, I'm sure that made him take a step back and say, "Ugh." Right. Now I see what it's like to not have these guys. Maybe I ought to sort of reevaluate things.
Well, and also this recognition, and you get it in year 4 as a head coach. It's different than being the star player, and there's no bigger star player in the history of that school than Coach Hardaway. But you also recognize who your real friends are on and off the court, and I think Coach Hardaway has had that recognition. Jason, the metamorphosis of the bracketologist, and today, a February 18th bracketology. It's not the end-all, be-all, but it means a hell of a lot more than a January 18th bracketology. The metamorphosis in today's bracketology compared to a month ago, the Tigers have room to play with. They can lose on Sunday. I don't want them to. I know Tiger partisans don't want them to, but they have a little room to play with, and that's according to every bracketologist. USA Today's Gannett Shelby Mass, Dave Allman, the bracket guy, Mr. Buckets himself, Joe Lenardi, they are firmly in the tournament.
Yeah, pretty much everybody, all the leading people who do this kind of for a living, agree that they've done enough good for themselves over the last 2 or 3 weeks that, yeah, it's not a must win. You don't have to win out. SMU, like, who exactly is in front of you helps. You can afford a road loss against a team like SMU because SMU is not a bad team, or at least they're not today. So, as the hourglass is beginning to, time's kind of running short, and they've done enough good things that there's, for the last couple of years, we've been focused on, well, there's not much time left to improve your resume. Well, now it's kind of in the situation where there's not much time to damage your resume with what's left on the schedule and how much time is actually left. So, it's really, really kind of remarkable. Just 3 weeks ago, Memphis weren't even next 4 out.
Right.
They weren't first 4 out. They weren't even next 4 out. And now, Dave Amon, who's traditionally one of the more accurate bracketologists out there, has Memphis not even in the last 4 in. Mm-hmm. They are firmly in the field, and he updated his bracket today and said that he has Memphis as an 11 seed facing LSU and Buffalo. So it's been
Bring
quite
that on too.
Yeah, wouldn't that be a spicy matchup? But it's been a remarkable turnaround.
Jason, what have you thought of the role that Alex Lomax has played since he's returned from injury?
I think he's been the game manager that they've needed all season. That's the thing is they've never needed anything more than a competent game manager, and that's not to say that that's all Alex Lomax has been. He's played 7 games since he's been back from injury, and his assist to turnover ratio is 4.4 to 1, like right at 4.5 assists to every turnover over a 7-game stretch is really, really good. I mean, over the course of a season, a good point guard maybe 2 to 1, 2.5 to 1. Alex is sitting here over the last 7 games right at 4.5 to 1. So he's been really, really good. And
that's money in the bank.
Yeah, and again, that's all they've really needed is somebody. They don't need a superstar at point guard. They didn't need Alex Lomax the way he was pre-Tulane, trying too hard to get buckets, forcing the issue when it was just very ill-advised to do so, trying to score too much, and trying to do too much with passing the ball. But so he's been a lot more under control, and he deserves a lot of credit, and he's getting it. But so too do his teammates. I mean, he said it a couple times since he's been back and things have been going well, is that I don't get assists if the guys that I'm passing the ball to don't put the ball in the hole.
Right.
So they're just good overall.
Yeah, the Tigers coaching staff, maybe some Tiger fans would just be repulsed at my next line of questioning, because it's really kind of the proverbial cart before the horse. One time I heard a guy say the horse in front of the cart. No, that's the way it's supposed to be. The horse is supposed to be in front of the cart, but this is the wrong way, cart before the horse. I'm even now, I mentioned the LSU, bring it on. I'm even having flights of fancy looking at maybe the Tigers working their way into a 10 seed and are at 11 and seeing those 7-10, 6-11 matchups, and they get spicy. That committee, they're presenting a TV program for a month. They want eyeballs. They want interest. How about a Tennessee-Memphis matchup in March?
Could you I couldn't even begin to imagine, especially considering what happened in December in Nashville. I mean, you couldn't buy better drama than that. And look, the way Memphis is playing, the way the rest of the schedule shapes. I mean, don't get me wrong, SMU's a good team, but also in 2 of the last 4 games that SMU has played, they've scored 57 points in both their losses. They're 2-2 in their last 4, and in both those games they scored 57 points. They're not unbeatable. They are kind of scuffling a little bit. So my point is, Memphis is the way the bracketology is setting up for most people right now is Memphis is kind of in the first 4 on the fringe of maybe playing their way into, past the play-in tournament. If they stay as hot as they are, you're saying 10, 11 seed. I could see maybe 7 or 8 if they keep winning.
Sure.
Keep winning,
and then pack the white jerseys signifying the better seed that usually wears the white unis. This would be fun too if somehow, and if they meet, put them in that 6:00 TV window on Friday night, where we have, especially for talk radio, all week to build it up and talk about it and go back and forth with each fan base, and then at that press conference at the NCAA that they always put on. This would be fun and funny, and I mean it both ways. Have Penny Hardaway show up with boxing gloves on for the ball fist game, and have Rick Barnes show up in a hazmat suit.
That would be classic. And if it comes to pass, I think what you ought to do is get on Twitter or something like that and start really stumping for that.
I can't imagine those guys being that funny with each other at this
point.
Well, and then for both of them, let's lay down the sword. Let's play ball. Let's agree to a contract. Home and home. We don't need any goofy neutral. We don't need Nashville. We need TBA. We need FedEx Forum. Both fans want it. Let's lay down the sword and act like adults.
Yeah, that would be. I think a lot of people would be perfectly okay with how that plays out. I'll be interested to see if Memphis gets into the NCAA tournament and they don't have to play in Dayton, where would they, or if they do have to play in Dayton and they get past it, where would they go? Would they go to Buffalo? Would they go to Fort Worth? That's why I bring that up, is because what kind of scenario would that be if Memphis goes over there in a couple of weeks and plays in the in the conference tournament at Dickies Arena, and then
takes 3,000 people.
Yeah, and then they can just stay there, or just go right back. That would be kind of an interesting little subplot as well.
Well, you guys are talking down the line. How about this Sunday? Let's stick to this Sunday for this line of questioning with SMU. I don't know the status of Kendrick Davis. Do you have any sort of update on that?
The impression that I have been given is that, and I talked to their beat writer from the Dallas Morning News last night during the SMU, or 2 nights ago during the SMU Temple game, and the impression that he gave me was that his guess was that it was precautionary, that he got his ankle dinged up against East Carolina, and that they were kind of just being cautious. Now, I've heard today that from a couple people that's they may have been treating it cautiously, but it's not just some sort of phantom deal, that it's actually a legitimate injury. And so I don't know if he's going to play, but it sounds like if he does, he won't be at 100%, which bodes well for Memphis. I mean, of course, nobody wants to root for injuries or anything like that, but every little bit helps at this point, I think.
And with DeAndre Williams and Jalen Duren back in the fold the way they are, Jason, on paper, this looks like a really substantial mismatch for SMU. I know SMU has not lost at home, and they've played relatively well there in Dallas, but the Tigers are bigger. They shot very poorly in that first game. They've been shooting a lot better, and they're peaking at the right time.
Yeah, they were one of 12 from three-point land against SMU the last time around, and they were 11 of 19 from the free throw line. They're shooting better from beyond the arc. They're defending better along the perimeter. They're defending better inside. Now that Jalen Durrett, he is so much better today than he was even just a month ago. And then you add DeAndre Williams. Chandler Lawson was another body they didn't have the last time these two teams played each other. Landers Nolley did not play in the last SMU game. I don't know if they would have gone 1 for 12 from three had Landers Nolley been available. So, yeah, I'm with you. I think on paper, this does have the makings of a, kind of get excited if you're a Memphis fan type of deal, because if they do go over there and win on Sunday, you have to think that you're looking at a really, really we're talking about bracketology. You have to think that there's going to be some pretty serious movement if they go over there and win.
Tigers seemingly would have to fall off the face of the earth for them to be out of anybody's bracketology. Now, down the stretch of the season. I found this interesting today, the Hansel Emmanuel story. That's a really cool thing, and Memphis seems to be his first sort of power offer, first big offer.
Right. Yeah, that's right. He's got offers from Tennessee State and Bethune-Cookman. Yeah, he's got one arm. His left arm had to be amputated when he was 6 years old. He's a native of the Dominican Republic, and there was an accident, sort of a freak accident, where a wall collapsed on him, and he was kind of trapped under it for 2 hours until his father was able to dig him out of it. He has overcome all of that. He's 6'5". He's a guard in Florida, and he's kind of this internet sensation. He's doing commercials or internet ads for J. Cole with J. Cole, and he's kind of become this sort of phenomenon, this celebrity type phenomenon. He's got millions of followers on social media and all that stuff. And I actually got him on the phone shortly after the report came out that he had an offer. He's not exceptionally fluent in English, but I talked to a translator who was around him, and it sounds like, Penny likes what he sees and made the offer. And, I think everybody's excited about what could possibly be. But if you go online and you look at some of his highlights,
his mixtapes are unreal, Jason. It's unreal.
I know it. He's fun to watch.
Yes,
that's for sure.
To have the handle he has, I'm amazed at what it's a really, really cool story. I would implore a bunch of people to go look at some of his highlights, because it is definitely a sight to see. But appreciate it, Jason. Thanks for joining us, man.
All right, thank y'all.
You have a good
one. Thank you, Jason.
And you can follow all of his work at commercialappeal.com and at his Twitter at Munsley. Now, let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we get to what's trending. And what's trending has to do with the college football playoff and George Kliavkoff, of course, the commissioner of the Pac-12. We'll talk about that when we come back on Sportstime with Gabe and Stats.
You have opinions?
Well, you gotta have an opinion.
We want to hear them. Call or text us on the AutoZone listener line at 360-8255. That's the AutoZone listener line at 901-360-8255.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
I often say they've set the bar for the way car business should be done at Homer Skelton Hyundai. You know how close that is. It's right there at Highway 78, Lamar Avenue, and Craft Road, the very first exit in Mississippi. I say it because they always come up with new innovations. And right now, when we've had all these shortages on new cars, Homer Skelton Hyundai is always going to come through for you. You won't pay more than the sticker price for a new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's Chris True's pledge. You'll never pay more than sticker price. Those other guys, they could charge you a whole lot more for that new car because they know there's a shortage. That never happens at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's part of the philosophy and the team that's been together for about 15 years now. You want the best of service? You want the best of products? It's the combination and the trust you'll always get from the best guys around. Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch.
This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Marks Bensdorf Realtors. When I talk to people about selling their homes or buying one, my motto is stick to your game plan. I learned this from my friend Coach Terry Tippett. Coach, you didn't go into a game without having a plan, did you?
No, Sheldon. Having a plan was critical to the success of all my teams.
That's right, Coach. Sticking to your game plan helped you win 4 state championships.
That's wrong, Sheldon. It was 6, just like the number of shots you make on a par 3.
Well, Coach, we've played golf together. What advice can you give me about my game?
You probably need to stick to real estate, as you're much better at doing that. Or perhaps bowling.
Great advice about real estate, not bowling. And as I always tell people, if they're thinking of selling their home, talk to 2 to 3 real estate brokers and let me be one of them. As they often say, when you want the job done, Coach, who should they call?
Sheldon, of course.
You can reach me at 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com. That's 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com.
That's the sound of a crack in the ceiling found at a home inspection. But with a Realtor by your side, a newfound leak might only cause minor worries. With their expertise, a Realtor can suggest a credit at closing and even connect you to a contractor to help you shore up that leak and alleviate your worries. When it comes to cracks in your plans, the expertise of a Realtor can make all the difference. The difference between an agent and a Realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know. Binswanger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 145 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Binswanger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Binswanger Glass in Midtown at 340 South Hollywood, across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit binswingerglass.com. Binswanger Glass.
As football winds down and basketball really heats up, there's no better place to enjoy all the action than at Sweetgrass Next Door in the heart of Cooper Young. Sweetgrass Next Door is just the right size, not some giant chain and not some hole in the wall. It's the perfect neighborhood bar, and it's the perfect place to catch a game. But make no mistake about it, if you don't care about sports, you'll still be happy at Sweetgrass Next Door. Sports are on the many high-def TVs, but they're not blaring at you, drowning out conversation. If you love sports but you have friends that don't, bring them to Sweetgrass Next Door, the bar that puts neighborhood in neighborhood bar.
Hi, folks. Bob Burkham for Sunrise Buick GMC Truck. Lots of vehicles to choose from at Sunrise. Trucks, SUVs, certified late model used cars, and cars under $10,000. At Sunrise, we specialize in low monthly payments and secondary financing. Come on in, call, or go online to sunrisememphis.com. Schedule an appointment, select your vehicle, appraise your trade-in, arrange financing and delivery. We'll deliver right to your doorstep. All cars inspected and ready to go. Need service or body work? Bring it to Sunrise or go online to schedule an appointment. Sunrise, Covington Pike, Wolf Chase, and Collierville.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Back rolling. Sports Time with Gabe and Stats. AutoZone listener line questions, comments, and concerns. Go there. We've talked Tigers. We've talked Grizzlies. We've talked All-Star break. We've talked college football playoff. 901-360-8255. Get in the zone, AutoZone. You can also watch us live and message us on our socials, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. And you can go to our website, sports56whbq.com. Featured audio podcasts, all there. Now, we got to this briefly at the end of the second hour, but we really have to hit on it now. College football playoff expansion has been tabled for the time being. The earliest that they're going to get to it is 2026 when the contract runs out. And we were wondering, they needed everyone to agree. They needed 11-0 vote to get to an expanded playoff before 2026. And it turns out there were 3 people, 3 commissioners that decided to say no. And it's the Alliance, ACC, Big Ten, and Pac-12. Now, with that, George Kliavkoff, who took over last year as the Pac-12 commissioner, put out this tweet earlier, and it really, looking back on it and seeing that he was one of the ones that said no really bothers me. He said via Twitter, "I share the disappointment felt by many college football fans today. I look forward to working collaboratively with other commissioners to deliver a football playoff format that is more inclusive and balanced." Well, George, you just denied a college football playoff that was more inclusive and balanced.
Yeah, I mean, were you not in the room? And so far, most of his marks, most of his public and private actions have been really good for the Pac-12. They went years without any leadership. I mean, almost anybody
I'm
can
with you.
Be better than the last guy. But this was word salad stupidity today. Is the tweet still up, or did he pull it down?
No, it's still up. It's still up.
Okay.
I'll respect that. Don't delete it at this point. But it begs the question for me with the alliance sort of standing firm on this against the college football playoff expansion. How much did realignment have to do with the way they voted? You would imagine a lot.
Yeah, and Gabe, you touched on it earlier. For middle tier, I won't say wrong, middle tier SEC teams, Ole Miss, Arkansas, Mississippi State. I think A&M should be listed in that grouping. Kentucky, Tennessee, of course, that more the merrier. Now we did have a good point made by Alan Bell of just how much football can be played. How much can you ask that 20-year-old to go out and log?
And don't mean to cut you off. That's the one point that I will that's the point of contention I can accept is player safety. Sure. That's the one I can accept. Yeah. When they get to NIL and they say, we don't know what it's going to look like, you won't know what it'll look like in 10 years.
Well, let's don't play 10 conference games then. Let's do something really foreign and get rid of 12 regular season games and go back to 10 or 11 and make the playoffs more the focus. Now, you know, in a lot of big states like California, Texas, Ohio, that high school football team that wins the state championship or plays in the state championship, they may approach 18 or 19 games. That's a lot of football. I don't know how big the ultimate bracket would be. I don't know if it'll be 8
That's
or 12.
At high school. That's high school.
And that's in high school. That's for some little old skinny, bony, not really developed 16-year-old.
And look, I can get to that point. I can understand player safety. You don't want guys playing 15 games a year. You don't want them to get injured, especially when they have these big contracts on the table at the NFL level. But that's not really what they're worried about. That's just a hunch of mine. I don't think that's really the thing that they're worried about. And also, Brett, there's ways to move around this. There's ways to fix this. And I know that some people they will never want to forfeit one of their home games to cut out their FCS game, whether it's at the SEC, in the SEC, the Pac-12, what have you. But there are ways to fix this. And I've even heard some people pitch this, and I'm going to throw it out there. I personally don't like this idea because I like a traditional championship game. Some people say cut out the conference championship game.
I wouldn't mind that because it's not. It's not the money line game. It's not the revenue producer. I mean, when Roy Kramer first came up with it, that was big money to find that kind of money floating around. Look, everybody's got that now with TV. That was a big line item, in 1992.
Right.
But we're a long way from 1992.
I think when you're talking about money, you'd much rather cut out one of the FCS games, one of your non-conference games, than cut out a championship game. Right? I mean, the championship makes substantially more money than Southeastern Louisiana coming into LSU.
For sure, but now we seem further away than we have at any point, and the blame game is out there, and this is not the SEC blocking. The SEC does not care the format. If it's a 91-team playoff, they're fine by it.
Because they're going to have showing in it. And they know that. Multiple teams. And they see this, as all the other 8 commissioners who voted yes, they see 450 with an M behind it and a dollar sign in front of it. And they say, okay, yes, that's what we're here for, right?
What do you think of my step back in time to 1985 plan? That's always somebody that you know's really on the ball. Let's go backwards.
Well, here's the thing. When it came to the BCS, I don't mind the thought of what they were doing with the BCS, with mathematics at least, because I think mathematics trumps some of the committed Gary Barta and company making subjective decisions on who should be in the top 4.
Yeah,
I think the mathematics make more sense than that, but I don't ever want to go back to a point where we have 2 teams that arbitrarily based on the
back to
mathematics.
UPI.
Based on the mathematics, just fight it out, and that's who's the national champion. Because you look back
Brian,
at when was the Georgia Bama, was that 2017? 27 or no 20 when they played
the walk off to Devontae?
Yes. When was that?
That was 18.
Because in a BCS format, if you had 1 versus 2 and they fought it out for the national championship, that game would have never been played because that was 3 versus 4.
No, it sure wouldn't have been. That would have probably been OU against
Clemson.
Who else would have been it?
Was it Clemson or Ohio State?
Maybe so. Yeah. Maybe Clemson.
But there's a lot of thought on this. I'm just amazed at this point. I just don't get the alliances. I don't get why they would vote no at this point.
But I don't know before you actually graduate in the spring if you've got many more papers to do or anything like that. But a good one would be to learn and know. And it was with real suspicion and drama and everybody building to wait to that day after, and those stupid polls come out, and a lot of times AP would have one, and PI would have
exactly,
another, and everybody was happy.
Yeah. No, it does bother the hell out of me, though, with this no. You're going to have 4 years' worth of athletes now, 5 years' worth of athletes that don't get the opportunity to compete for a national championship that they would have had this been voted yes. That's what bothers me.
That's right. And when we had Charles Davis on middle part of last week talking mostly NFL, and I sincerely meant I love his contribution to that big ESPN 150th year of college football documentary, largely put together by Ivan Maisel. And one of the chapters of it was polls versus playoffs, etc. I mean, he's not one of my favorite guys, Stephen Godfrey. And he comes on there and says, of course, like he always is, there will never be a group of 5 teams ever to the playoffs. And every time I watch it, I just laugh.
Yes.
Going, you big dummy, it only took 2 years for you to be wrong.
What, though? This is the next question in this entire saga, and we don't have to answer it today. What changes in 3 years? How do you get the alliance to change their mind on an expanded playoff in that amount of time?
Gabe, I know the answer. More absolute poundings and more of the same. And you see that, and you see across the country a great regular season sport with Bafo TV ratings, and then you get to your best time of the year, and it take a 40% plunge because everybody gets passé with watching the pounding.
The best I can see, though, from these 3 conferences, I would assume it has to do with autonomy more than anything. I would assume they want that 5+1 in there and other things thrown their way. They want the autonomy more than anything.
Greg Sankey is not going to sit still. I mean, today it's not just go, okay, well, we didn't get what we preferred. I won't even say our way. Okay, ho-hum, move on. Not a chance. He's going to be very forward-thinking, and he's not going to let the SEC, vis-a-vis college football, get stuck in a rut.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's always funny because he does become sort of the he gets blamed for a lot of things, Greg Sankey, because he has absolute power, a lot of power at least.
Because he's arguably the most powerful commissioner in American sport, even Goodell included.
How about this? You can't blame this one on him. You cannot point in his direction when it comes to expanded playoff. He was all on board.
No, and the SEC's always been for playoff. Gabe, I can remember you talking about Earl Weaver in 1977.
The Pepper Pot.
At the end of the year, arguably the best football team in the country was Lou Holtz's Arkansas Razorbacks. Went in and blasted Oklahoma in the playoff. And Coach Holtz, he unveiled his own kind of playoff formula back then. I mean, we're talking almost 50 years, 45 for dang sure, 45 years ago. And his team would have greatly benefited by a 4-team playoff. Any kind of playoff at that time would have served college football better than you go in and getting your newspaper out and looking up the AP and the UPI.
Right. All right. It's Friday, so let's have a little bit of fun. Brian, you told me, are you celebrating Valentine's Day today? So you had to delay it, right? Because Monday.
Yeah.
You and your honey didn't have enough time.
No. So yeah.
So is it today?
Tonight's the night. Yeah.
Well, you got any good big plans?
Not too much. We're both kind of homebodies, so we're gonna go out to dinner, and then I think we're gonna go and watch a movie or something. Okay. Nothing too crazy.
What kind of movie you watching? You watching Genius, the Kanye documentary?
No, I already watched that. I watched it the day it came out.
I have to say, Brett, by the way, and I know you may not be a Kanye guy. I'm not a Kanye guy.
I'm a Kanye guy.
I watched the first part of this Netflix documentary, Genius, by Kanye.
I think he is a genius.
Me too.
It is an unreal documentary. It has from 2002. Has footage from then. Him not even being signed to a label, how he was acting. It does show, unfortunately, how far his mental health has declined.
Oh yeah.
But
and often
that's part of the story.
But often geniuses are wrestling
Bingo.
with things like that. All right, let me ask both of y'all. Your girlfriends, do they ever want y'all to get away from sport, cut it off? I can't take it anymore. Or do they like love it as much as y'all?
Look, yes. Football season's a different thing. Taylor loves her some football. That's a different conversation. But
Interestingly enough, my girlfriend isn't a huge sport. I mean, she'll let me do whatever, but she loves UFC. I mean, if there's a UFC fight on,
you know what? That's funny.
Taylor the same way. Oh yeah, my girlfriend.
As rough as it is.
Oh yeah, if there's football on or something, she'll be like, okay, I'll play on my computer. I'll play on my phone while you're watching that. But if I'm like, hey, we got a UFC fight tonight, she's like, what are we doing? We got to go get dinner early so we can get home and watch this fight.
I don't have the stomach for UFC. I don't have the stomach for boxing anymore.
No one ever accused UFC of not being entertaining. Certainly entertaining.
No, not at all.
It's certainly entertaining.
And interesting on this day, and I tried to some years, and I'd always get a pretty good guess to do a lot more about it than I did because I don't know anything about it. But NASCAR, Daytona 500.
No, I've never been there.
Won't watch a second.
Yeah, I've never been there. No, this is where I was going with Valentine's Day. I've waited a while to drop this story because this one's hilarious.
I love stories.
Stephon Diggs, he's like the Wilt Chamberlain of the NFL. I mean, he gets around. He's been with a bunch of Instagram models. Brett, this is one of the most amazing stories I have ever heard of a Valentine's Day celebration, I guess, so to speak.
He ain't touching 10,000 yet.
Who knows? I mean, he's young. He's got time, Brett. He's got time. But you'll get what I'm saying, why I say that. So Stephon Diggs on Valentine's Day bought 2 hotel rooms, and he put up 2 IG models, Alicia Renee and LaShante, in the same hotel, was going back and forth in hotel rooms on Valentine's Day. Is that genius?
I mean,
I have so many questions. He's getting to his off-season. Good for him. He's getting to his off-season strength and conditioning plan a little bit early.
But that conditioning, man.
I have so many. Did he ever sleep? Did he stay in one room for an extended period of time and then go to the other one?
Well, Gabe, here's the thing. The great thing about Apple Watches now is you can have it to where the alarm just vibrates. So maybe he goes to sleep for a couple hours, vibrates, he wakes up, goes to I got to go to the restroom, I got to go get ice or something, goes to the next room. Same thing. 2 hours, come back.
And his motto is, you don't sleep in the off season.
That's true. We're always grinding.
Legendary. I just to get your brain to work at this level.
Oh yeah.
And to be able to pull this off.
I'm not as worried about the brain as much as something else.
Yeah.
Better or worse than the Tinder swindler?
He's got to be careful. He's got to be. Oh, the Tinder swindler. Brett, do you know about the Tinder swindler?
I do not. I know nothing about the Tinder. I know more about the Marbles than I do the Tinder.
Oh, Brett. Oh, geez. And this is another Netflix documentary about the Tinder swindler.
I don't think I want to learn about Wordle or the Tinder swindler.
Wordle is a much easier concept to grasp than the Tinder swindler.
Got it.
You know what Tinder is, though, right? We've established this. Okay.
Yeah.
So for those that don't know about the Tinder swindler, I don't want to ruin it for you. You have to go watch it.
I learned all this from John Hart in the hall.
Brett, listen. I have a login to Netflix.
I do too.
I have to shoot it to you. You have to watch the Tinder swindler.
Got to.
It's unreal what this guy was doing to these women.
It's terrible.
Just fleecing them. I mean, I couldn't believe it.
Hey, baby, I need $2,500.
Take out.
Oh, you don't have that? Take out a loan.
Take out a business loan and
sell your house. Sell your car.
Oh my gosh, $10 million.
Born every day.
Yeah, $10 million. This guy swindled through Tinder,
and was living a great life with it.
Lavish life. Hey, what is his name? Simon Leviev?
Yeah, Simon Leviev. Yeah.
Yeah. Whew. Brett, I'm telling you, I got to give you the login. You need the login for this. But let's go ahead and get to a break, our final break of the week. When we come back, we'll get to Taco Bell Crunch Time right here on Sports Time with Gabe and Stats.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Welcome to Triumph Auto Sales, where you'll have a great car buying experience. Triumph Auto Sales is your #1 source of quality pre-owned vehicles ranging from lease returns to new car trades, all at huge savings. Plus, Triumph has a full array of financing options to meet your needs. Find your next car online at triumphautosales.com or stop in today at 4875 Elmore Road. Triumph Auto Sales will help you get the vehicle you want at the price you need and the service you deserve. For a great car and a great experience from a local and family-owned business, visit Triumph Auto Sales.
That's the sound of a crack in the ceiling found at a home inspection. But with a Realtor by your side, a newfound leak might only cause minor worries. With their expertise, a Realtor can suggest a credit at closing and even connect you to a contractor to help you shore up that leak and alleviate your worries. When it comes to cracks in your plans, the expertise of a Realtor can make all the difference. The difference between an agent and a Realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder. There are a lot of ways to ruin your roof. Probably none worse than ice and snow. Google the term ice dam, and you'll understand that standing snow and ice can destroy your home's interior. Call me, 867-0303. Damaged ceilings or interior? It's time to call Brian Elder Roofing, 867-0303. We're a platinum preferred contractor with Owens Corning, so we've been vetted and trained by the best. You've known the name for years. Call me before you call your insurance company. We won't try to sell you a new roof if you don't need one. We'll measure your roof from outer space. Call me, 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
The spring sales event is rocking and rolling at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Want 43 MPG Highway in these crazy times? We Gossett in 2022 Mitsubishi Mirage, $239 a month, or $16,715. 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, 27 MPG combined in an SUV, $349 a month, or $26,010. Plus, redesigned 2022 Outlander. We Gossett at $398 a month. Not a lease, you own them. And get our stellar 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. That's Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online anytime at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 72 months Mirage, NH001803, MSRP 17465, Sport, NU003361, MSRP 27010, Outlander NZ053093, MSRP 29615. Includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/28/22, dealer stock only.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
One more time.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! This is for all the biggest crunch time. You are looking live
you seen anything like that?
Goodbye. Hello, Haskins.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
Brett, what I learned is that you have a knack for this sometimes. You, Brett Norsworthy, have a knack for this sometimes. We talked about AD yesterday and his sprained ankle. We said, it'll be 2 weeks. That's what they're reporting. 2 weeks. You said it would turn to 4 weeks. Guess what it turned to today? 4 weeks. 4 weeks AD will be out with a sprained ankle.
Yeah, you can get ready for it. I promise you. I'll go ahead and do what I could have done without. We've seen Anthony Davis for the final time this season, the Lakers, all of us around sports. We're the biggest liars in the world about injury. I knew all year Matt Corral was hurt. What did I say? Oh, no, he's
fine. He's totally okay.
We're the biggest liars in the world. We have to be in the camp, and the Lakers always are about him. That's what I could have done without. What I learned, a win versus SMU makes the path almost easy for the Tigers. And I can assure you, easy has not been mentioned around this program in a long time. After Sunday, you got Temple and Wichita State at home. You're at USF and then Houston at home to close out the season. All that is very manageable, including Houston at home. Almost easy after Sunday.
Mm-hmm. What I could have done without is, Brett, you denying and you doubting Stephon Diggs being right there with Wilt Chamberlain. He's got to be. I mean, come on. He's got to be. He's got to be approaching. Now. I mean, that is a lot. I mean, to be fair.
Run the math.
There, yeah.
10,000.
How do you run that math? That's a ridiculous amount of math. Yeah. I mean, how many? There's 365 days in a year. 10,000 divided by 365. Come on, somebody do the math for me.
There's a lot of new math out there. But with this, you need a slide rule and a protractor.
But, yeah, that's Stephon Diggs' story. Back and forth between hotel rooms on Valentine's Day.
27.3.
All right, the math doesn't work.
Yeah.
Caligula wasn't working at this pace.
You know what? You got a good point. You got a good point. What I could have done without, though, Kelly Smiley, who is a photographer for the Rams, there was a viral video of her falling off stage and Matt Stafford turning around and being scared and did not come to her rescue. She fell off stage during the Super Bowl parade. Kelly Smiley ended up fracturing her spine.
Whoa.
Falling off of the stage. And a lot of people are coming after Matt Stafford saying, why didn't you go help her? You really got to go help her. Matt Stafford's covering the bills. Matt and Kelly Stafford are covering her medical bills. So everybody can be quiet about that and worry about Kelly Smiley because that's awful.
I saw a player one time. I'm covering an NCAA tournament regional. John Calipari and UMass, Texas Tech, Georgetown, Arkansas, all in Atlanta, and a player for UMass, Carmelo Travieso, a good player. He didn't realize that it was a raised stage, and behind the curtain, he fell backwards, and there was nothing back there, and he tumbled down and was pretty badly injured.
What I'm looking forward to over the weekend, though, Brett, I'm going to give you my Netflix account, and you're going to watch The Tinder Swindler, and you're going to watch Genius, the Kanye documentary, and we're going to get you a review on Monday.
Full review on both Monday.
I'm staying away from that Tinder. I'm too old for
You don't have to get on Tinder. You don't have to get on Tinder. You just have to watch the Tinder Swindler.
Yeah.
That's it.
You it always starts out something benign, and then 2 years later, I'm somewhere going, hi, my name is Brett.
You're not wrong.
That's how it always happens.
Over the weekend, though, we're watching All-Star Weekend. We have tonight the Rising Stars competition. Then tomorrow we have Saturday night All-Star three-point contest, dunk contest, the whole 9 yards. Desmond Bain will be in there. And then Sunday, we have the All-Star game itself. We have the Tigers on Sunday versus SMU. So much to get to this weekend.
Does someone get to 200 points scored in the All-Star game? Does one side get to 200 Sunday?
That's a big number.
That's a big number.
I'm
going to say slightly under. Slightly under.
The over and under is 313.
I'm going to say slightly under. I'm going to say slightly under, though. I think we can get to 175, 180.
a smooth 200 to 113 gets you there on the OU. Arkansas and Tennessee in Fayetteville tomorrow. Tigers, Ponies on Sunday at Moody. Houston at Wichita State on Sunday. Really, Sunday in the AAC is where all the action is.
Yep, there's no question about it. That's all we have for today and the week. Thanks for joining us. Thanks to Alan Bell, Bruce Marshall, Drew Barrett, and Jason Munns for their contributions to our Friday program. For Brett, for Brian, I'm Gabe. Enjoy your night, your weekend, and be safe. We'll holler at you Monday.